Just tell me what to do. Welcome, everyone. Can you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Councilmember Daniele. Present. Councilmember Istvan.
Here.
Supervisor Alba.
Here.
Councilmember Foreman.
Here.
Councilmember Rye.
Here. Okay, I want to adopt the agenda with a couple changes. I want to remove the command resignation, the Rotary, and the Chamber. And I want to have 2 items for special consideration, the highway surplus and the seasonal laborer. And then finally, I'd like to move the presentation for Councilwoman Daniele to right after this. I'll present all that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Foreman, all in favor?
Aye.
Councilwoman, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I want to start out by saying the entire town board thanks all of the people who came out tonight to join us for this presentation to recognize Fishkill's first inaugural hometown banner, class of 2023's Group of Heroes. I didn't want this to be political. Instead, I wanted it to be personal. We are very happy to acknowledge that you are a part of our first round of hometown banner heroes. The town board and the Fishkill residents can see our heroes and appreciate them or their family member who is representing them if they are deceased or couldn't make it. I want to begin by explaining how this all began. During my first year on the board, myself and prior board members Jackie Bardini and Kenya Gadsden all received requests from citizens to start a hometown banner program in our town, since we have never had one and other towns do. When we were beginning to plan it, COVID happened, and everyone's world shut down for about a year and a half. Last year, the supervisor asked me to continue to work to create the program. Thank you, Supervisor Albert, for that opportunity. I originally started by speaking to East Fishkill Councilmember Tom Franco, as he was the council member in charge of the East Fishkill program. He directed me to Gina Grippo, who is the East Fishkill Supervisor's assistant and the true person in charge. She has given me guidance throughout the past year or so and answered every question I had, and I couldn't have done it without her help. I thank her very much for sharing her knowledge with me. The next step was to begin the arduous process of getting approval from Central Hudson polls. I needed Greg Tatino's assistance with that, as it involves searching Google Maps for each poll and painstakingly filling out the application from Central Hudson until they were satisfied and approved certain polls for us to use along State Route 52 in the town of Fishkill. Then Greg, Councilmember Carmine Isfan, and I began distributing applications and advertising the program. We used the same banner maker printer as East Fishkill, Roy Bartels. Thank you to Roy, who has a lot of patience and worked tirelessly with heroes to make sure every detail they wanted was perfect. Greg was also instrumental in assisting with the hero photos that needed touching up or helping and listening to those heroes who came into the supervisor's office. We also used the iron maker that East Fishkill used, Ortiz Welding in Hopewell Junction. Thank you to Phil for making the brackets that we used. Next began the process of processing the paperwork, which I owe many thanks not only to Greg for continually updating my list, but to our comptroller Sharon Mitchell and Olympia Del Bianco for helping me organize the billing and copies of the applications with checks that were received. Then Carmine and I physically checked all of the polls, and we began mapping out where the banners would go. Gina told me not to promise anyone certain polls, but I wanted to try my best to make everyone happy. Carmine also helped Brandon to get estimates, and we were able to hire Lee's Trees. Lee and Arthur were amazing to work with, as they put up each banner for 5 days, from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., rain or shine. I had assistance from all the guys in the Buildings and Grounds Department in transporting the banners safely in order from Town Hall into the town van that I used to distribute them to Lee and Arthur to hang. I wouldn't have had them in perfect order had I not had help from my friend Maureen Mans, who for hours on numerous nights helped me sort through the piles and then sort them again until we had them in precise order. And she also created the seat tags for everyone tonight. The chief was unable to provide a police escort to ensure our safety as we were putting up the banners. I am grateful to Sergeant Todd Cara and the New York State Police, who I can always count on to have my back when needed. We assigned Trooper Cinquinelli, Trooper Finey, Trooper Shaw, and Trooper DeRusso from the Troop K TIMS unit to make sure we were safe throughout the process. Thank you also to Pete, our videographer, who helped Greg put together the photo montage, which he will put on the TV starting tomorrow, in between some of the meetings for everyone to watch. It's going to be really nice, and he put music to it also. We will also have the photos put on our website for those near and far to see. And lastly, Greg will put together a directory of where the banners are located in case someone calls to ask. The town's banner program includes service members from conflicts dating from World War II through the Korean and Vietnam Wars, Cold War conflicts including Cuban Missile Crisis, the Gulf War, and recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Service members being honored served in the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Army, Navy Corps, and the National Guard. Fishkill's heroes include reservists, special force soldiers, service academy graduates, reconnaissance photographers, individuals killed in combat, and those while on active duty, a husband and wife couple, and some who are still in the service today. These men and women served with honor and distinction, and they are a part of the rich history of the military service in the town of Fishkill. And the town of Fishkill is proud today to congratulate each and every member of the inaugural class of Fishkill's Hometown Heroes. Although we begin with 93, I want to say that we appreciate every one of our Fishkill heroes that live among or lived among us in our town, as there are hundreds upon hundreds of them. Where they are, if they're not on the banner yet, if they're on the banner or not yet. Hopefully through the years, the numbers will grow and our streets will be filled with more faces for us to get to know and appreciate and give our town a sense of community pride. In this first inaugural group we have before us, some were known to us and others are heroes who have always been around us, but we never knew that they too were our heroes. Our older neighbor, our town employee's father or son or uncle, our friend's son, some people who serve on our volunteer boards or their family members, some town board members or town board members' brothers or boyfriends or prior board members' fathers, and even a prior supervisor. A couple of father and sons and a husband and wife couple. Many of our seniors that we see in our rec center at functions are our heroes. Even our rec center's director's father. Neighbors, friends, and family, they are all among us, whether they are still living or have passed on. Generation through generation, we have at least two commonalities: our bond with our town of Fishkill and our appreciation for their service to our country. Some have never truly been appreciated, especially those who served in Vietnam. I know because I've lived with a Vietnam vet for over 25 years. He was my inspiration to work hard to make sure this program turned out right.
Your cell phone.
Oh, this is Ken DeRosa telling me that he's going to be a little late.
Vietnam vet.
Yeah, actually, I think he is.
Speaking of Vietnam
Yeah,
veterans.
and I'm going to go back to that one last important sentence. Let's see, I'm just going to go back to it because it's important. Generation through generation, we have at least two commonalities: our bond with our town of Fishkill and our appreciation for their service to our country. Some have never truly been appreciated, especially those who served in Vietnam. I know because I have lived with a Vietnam vet for over 25 years. He was my inspiration to work hard to make sure this program turned out right. They deserve respect and gratitude when they returned home so many years ago, but they didn't get it. The town board and the Fishkill residents want to give it to you, to each of you tonight as we sit here together. We appreciate each and every one of you for your sacrifices and service to our country, and our most sincere, heartfelt appreciation to the family of those who did not return. I will give certificates of recognition to people who helped us from beginning to end first, which is the banner maker, the trees, and the state police. So the first one, the banner maker, is unable to come, but this certificate is presented to Roy Bartels. We appreciate the time and effort you put into creating all of our inaugural banners precisely as the hero or their family requested. They turned out beautiful and give us all a sense of community pride to see them as we drive past them every day. By order of the town board of the town of Fishkill on this 24th day of May 2023. need a little rag up here. Certificate of recognition. This certificate is presented to Sean Lee and Arthur Christopherson of Lee's Tree Service. We appreciate the time and effort you put into installing our inaugural Hometown Hero banners throughout our town. They turned out beautiful and give us all a sense of community pride to see them as we drive past them every day. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Fishkill on this 24th day of May 2023. This is a certificate of recognition for the state police. If the three troopers can just step forward, please. Turn around, face this way. Yeah, okay. Certificate of recognition. This certificate is presented to the New York State Police. Thank you to Sergeant Todd Kara of the Troop K Tim's unit for assigning Trooper Roy Cincanelli, Trooper Jason Farney, Trooper Wesley Shaw, and Trooper John DeRusso for providing state police coverage to ensure Councilmember Louise Daniele and Lee's Tree Service workers were safe while putting up the banners for 5 days in early May 2023 by order of the Town Board of the Town of Fishkill on the 24th day of May 2023. I also wanted to say that tonight I believe I have Trooper Brian Sayers and Trooper Damian Lampin, sorry, I was going to, who also came here to support Trooper Roy Cincanelli, as his family member is one of our, on the banners, that's his son, so they're here for support of Roy also, so thank you. Okay. So for the sake of time, I'm going to read this certificate, which is the same for all heroes. Inside, Greg and I have printed a certificate of recognition and a small printed version of each banner. There is a small piece of tape on the back, which you can gently remove if you choose to and put in a picture frame. Certificate of recognition. The Town of Fishkill is proud to acknowledge you as one of our inaugural 2023 Class of Fishkill Hometown Heroes. The Town Board of the Town of Fishkill and the residents of Fishkill acknowledge and appreciate your service to our country. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Fishkill on this 24th day of May 2023. So now I'm going to read each person's name, but that's what it says on each one of the certificates. And I make sure I have to say them right, so Greg, help me write out how to say them correctly.
Greg, help me.
Thank you, Greg. Corporal Salvatore Aglione, U.S. Army, World War II. I forgot to say the part that we can clap all at the end, but I know that you're not going to listen, so whatever. Corporal Joseph Agunzo, U.S. Marines, World War II, 1945 to 1947. If he comes later, we'll present it to him again, but if not, we will get it to him.
Oh, me?
Corporal Azim Azi Abra, Delta Troop, 10th U.S. Cavalry, Buffalo Soldiers, 1985 to 1987. Yep. Corporal Paul Williams Annetz, U.S. Marines, Cuban Missile Crisis, and Vietnam War, 1961 to 1967. Staff Sergeant John A. Batista, U.S. Air Force, Korean War, 1948 to 1952. Specialist 5, William P. Biasotti, U.S. Army, Korean War. Master Sergeant William G. Biasotti, U.S. Air Force, Operation Enduring Freedom.
Oof.
This is William's mother, not William. Wife, and that's his wife. I love the Biasadis. They're my favorite people. Thank you. Sergeant John J. Bodo, U.S. Marines, Vietnam. I should say, I have to correct that, Vietnam War. Difference, I know. Thank you very much. Sergeant Benedict Betcher, U.S. Air Force, Korean War. Private First Class Harold Hal Brilliant, U.S. Army Reserves, 1956 to 1961, also our Deputy Supervisor. Who is this young man? Where'd he go? Lance Corporal Brian Brophy Jr., U.S. Marines, 2021 to present, and he will be promoted to corporal on June 1st. His brother is here to receive it for him. Tommy. Lance Corporal Alex Skeet Burka, United States Marines, 1957 to 1960. Communications Technician William F. Burke, U.S. Navy, 1959 to 1962.
Thank you for all your time.
Thank you. You're welcome. Airman First Class Frederick M. Fred Cantor, U.S. Air Force, 1963 to 1967. I'm also very happy to see that Fred is now wearing shorts tonight, and he's very nice. Thank you, Fred. You look great. Very good, Fred. Corporal Dominic Corolla, 31st Engineers Combat Battalion, U.S. Army, 1942 to 1945. Petty Officer, 3rd Class Anthony Cephaloni, U.S. Navy Reserves, 1965 to 1971, Vietnam conflict. Sergeant James M. Chirico, U.S. Marines, Korean War. Where's Betty? Is Betty here? No? She couldn't make it? Okay, we'll make sure that they get that. Senior Airman Royal C.H. Cincanelli, Sink, U.S. Air Force, 2017 to 2021. He died while serving his country, and they're a Gold Star family that I am very close to and very happy to give this certificate to. So, Jody. Private First Class Michael Shiopa, U.S. Army, Korean War, 1952 to 1954. As he walks up here, I just want to tell you a story that he was the first person to get an application. He numerous times contacted the clerk to ask, when will my picture go up on the banner so I can see it, because I want to see it before I die. So I am so happy that you are here today and we can see you. Yeah. Looks exactly the same, too. Thank you. Great job. Mitchell C. Cole, The second, U.S. Marines 2003 to 2006 Iraq War. I believe someone's here to pick it up for him. Yep. The other one. Yeah. Lance Corporal Shane M. Connolly, U.S. Marines 2021 to present. Staff Sergeant Norman A. Crotty. Is that right, Greg? Damn it. Crotty, U.S. Marines, World War II, 1943 to 1946. Sergeant Harold G. Delamater, U.S. Marines, 1970 to 1974. Semper Fi to you too. Let's see. Airman First Class John R. Depew, U.S. Air Force, Korean War. There you go. Very nice. Specialist for Ken DeRosa, Gunner, 1st Cavalry Division, Vietnam War, 1970 to 1972. He'll be here a little late, so we'll save that one for later. I'm just going to write. Let's see. Specialist for Joseph DiGiovanni, U.S. Army, 1981 to 1983. This is Ken DeRosa, who's late. That is not. Yes, I'm glad that he should see it. Yeah, this is yours. Yes, thank you very much. Sorry about that. Sergeant John R. DeMace, U.S. Air Force, 1945 to 1948. Corporal Jeffrey M. Dunay, Vietnam, 1968 to 1970. That's his brother-in-law. Yeah, his brother-in-law. Way to go. Seaman First Class Anthony Esposito, U.S. Navy, World War II, 1941 to 1945, kamikaze attack survivor. Wow. Is his sister here? Okay, if not, we're going to get that to him. Engineman Third Class Louis Ferreira, U.S. Navy, 1965 to 1967, Vietnam. Look the same. It's pretty good. Torpedoman's mate Gordon Flater, U.S. Navy Submarine Force, 1968 to 1972. Very nice. Specialist Scott Flauter, Sr., U.S. Army, 1989 to 1992, Persian Gulf War. Sergeant John L. French, U.S. Air Force, 1980 to 1984. I think Lorraine is going to give this one to him because he couldn't make it tonight. Construction Mechanic, Diesel Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Joseph F. Gibbs, United States Navy, 1951 to 1954. Hospital Corpsman Petty Officer First Class Stephen Heath, U.S. Navy, 1996 to 2006, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Fallujah, Iraq, 2005 to 2006. I think he's coming late also. Let me put that one down. And for the best dressed of everyone tonight. Private First Class Tyrone P. Hendricks, United States Marines, Vietnam, 1967 to 1969. Turn around, let everybody see how he still fits in his uniform and he still looks good. Yes. Tyrone's wife would like you to know that the Deli Mart at 82 and 52 is where that's located, and she's very proud of her husband. Yes. Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Charles Thomas Hunt, U.S. Navy, 1957 to 1961, Vietnam era. Yeah, that's this one, right? So this is his father. Yep, and then I also have, I said it wrong, so hold on one second. Private Charles Thomas Hunt, okay. U.S. Army, World War II, 1944 to 1945, killed in action. We named the road at the entrance of the Little League field after him just a few months ago, and we're very proud to present this to them tonight.
Yes.
Corporal Howard D. Hunt, U.S. Army, 1953 to 1955, Korean War. All right, I just have to see this one because this is the best smile, so you got to smile for me. Because I know, that's it. Very nice.
Yeah.
Specialist James H. Hunt, U.S. Army, Vietnam War, 1967 to 1972. I don't think they could be here, so we're going to mail this one to them. Constructionman Robert A. M., U.S. Navy, 1962 to 1964, Cuban Missile Crisis, also part of our senior center, and there are people who are already have received his signature autograph that he got from them when he first had the application. Sergeant Mike Istvan, U.S. Marines, 1977 to 1981, and Carmine is going to pick that up really. Carmine's brother. Sergeant John Jackson, U.S. Air Force, 1952 to 1956. Another one of our rec center heroes, our senior center heroes. Thank you. Turn around, sir. Excellent. No kisses. Your wife is there waiting for a kiss. Get out of here. I rejected you. You're asking too many women. Corporal Robert Jemty, U.S. Army Armed Forces Police, 1959 to 1961. He didn't ask, so he got a kiss. Sergeant Richard Rick Healy, U.S. Army, Vietnam. I don't think they were able to make it, so we'll give it to them. Sergeant Thomas Krause, U.S. Army, Vietnam War, 1966 to 1968. They also weren't able to make it, but we'll get that to them. William J. Lagyan, U.S. Army, Korean War, Mary works for our water department, and we're very happy to be able to fly her father's flag outside of our town hall. Private First Class Alexander Lapis, U.S. Army, 1940 to 1945, World War II, 104th Field Artillery, 27th Division. I'm not sure if they're here, if he's here. Sorry about that. Let's see. Raymond Linen, U.S. Navy, 1957 to 1959. Lorraine is going to accept this on behalf of his family. Sergeant Moning Lin, discharged as a staff sergeant, U.S. Army Special Forces, 1969 to 1972. Thank you very much. Airman First Class Joseph A. Lopez, U.S. Air Force and New York Air National Guard, 1988 to 1992. E-4 Ammunitionist Specialist Joseph Maglio, Vietnam War. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah, turn around so we can see you. Thank you for your service. There you go. Corporal Edward J. Matea, U.S. Army, 1952 to 1960, Korean War. This is Jay. He is our rec center director, and his father's flag flies proudly right outside the rec center so everybody can see it for him. Rec Center. Sergeant Donald H. Manns, U.S. Army Air Forces, 1942 to 1945, World War II, Asiatic Pacific Campaign. Maureen, I hope I said that right. Thank you. Specialist 4, Garrett T. Martin, U.S. Army, 1966 to 1968, Vietnam. Sergeant Michael Mickey Mazuka Sr., U.S. Army, 1964 to 1967, Vietnam conflict. He couldn't make it either, so we'll make sure that he gets this also. Specialist 4, William Henry McCourt, Vietnam, 1965 to 1967. My good friends, Billy and Christina, this was Billy's father, and he was a good man, and we'll miss him. Yep. Sergeant Hugh McDowell, U.S. Army, World War II, 3.5 years in the Pacific Theater. Not sure if he's here. He wasn't able to make it, so we'll make sure that we get that one. Seaman First Class Vincent J. Milano, U.S. Navy Amphibious Assault Team, 1961 to 1967.
Hey.
So everybody loves his voice. So I want you to just say thank you in the mic so everybody can hear it. Just say,
Thank you very much.
Hey.
I love it. Seaman Joseph Montalbano, U.S. Navy, 1969 to 1971, Vietnam War. Sergeant First Class Edward J. Morrison, U.S. Army and New York Air National Guard, 1984 to 2004. I'll see you at the Renegades. Okay. Sergeant Bill Muller, U.S. Army, Vietnam, 1965 to 1967. Senior Master Sergeant Air National Guard, 1978 to 2005, Operation Desert Storm, and you can see his flag flying very proudly in front of the Rombout Firehouse. Airman Second Class Theodore Ted Newman, U.S. Air Force, 1958 to 1962, Vietnam era. And don't worry, Ted, we're going to fix some truck hit it, we'll fix it. It's a little bent. Radar Seaman Daniel L. Obenhauser, U.S. Navy, Cuban Missile Crisis. He couldn't make it here today, and we're just going to keep him in our thoughts and prayers because he's not feeling very well, so thank you for his service. Lance Corporal Neil O'Hara, U.S. Marines, 1968 to 1990, Panama. He's unable to make it, but Greg will make sure that he gets it. Yep. Corporal Edward Oken, U.S. Army, Korea. And his son is here to represent him. Sergeant Harry Peters, U.S. Marines, 1950 to 1954, Korea. Private First Class Joel A. Petrus, did I say it right, Joel? Petrus. U.S. Army, World War II, 1940 to 1944. Joel's father he hangs his flag hangs proudly outside the window so Joel can see it every day when he works very hard in his office. Lieutenant First Class Henry L. Raish, Jr., U.S. Army, Cuban Missile Crisis. Ray was unable to make it, that's his son. Yeah, but I'm glad you can take it for him. Yeah, there you go. For anyone that didn't know Mr. Raish, he was a wonderful man, and he had the best stories of Fishkill history that I have ever heard. So I wish they were recorded, but he's missed. Radioman Third Class Paul W. Reedy, U.S. Navy, Dominican Republic. Private First Class Michael A. Rivera, U.S. Army, World War II. This is Kathy's husband. This is Kathy, our Verplank Garden Club president that we love. And this one is... This is my grandfather. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. Had the wrong one. This is her husband. No. Oh, my God. All right, let me try it again. Grandfather? Yes. Thank you. I didn't say his name yet, though. Seaman Michael R. Rivera, U.S. Navy, 1951 to 1953. Sorry about the mix-up. And there you go. All right, this next one might be one of the coolest pictures on the banners, I don't know. Specialist for Anthony Tony Sansone, U.S. Army, Vietnam War, 1969 to 1972.
We'll get a special waiver.
No, he's near sicko, don't worry about it. Private First Class Noel Ryan Shutter, U.S. Army Air Corps, World War II, Philippines, Okinawa. He was also one of our Fishkill supervisors. Combat Medic Specialist Stephen J. Shumway, U.S. Army, Vietnam War, 1968. Staff Sergeant Anthony Statini, U.S. Army, 2013 to present. He was unable to make it, so we'll make sure that this gets to. Oh, you're here? Thank you for coming. Private Leon R. Stevens, U.S. Army, Vietnam War, 1968 to 1969. He may come late, so I'm going to put this one over here. Let's see. Sergeant Gary Stamersky, U.S. Marines, 1963 to 1968, Vietnam, wounded in action. Lieutenant, I don't know, is Mr. Unger here? Yes. Perfect timing. Lieutenant Susan Unger and Lieutenant James Unger, both U.S. Navy. Susan graduated the Naval Academy in 1980 and served in the Civil Engineer Corps, I was getting there, from 1980 to 1989. James graduated the Naval Academy in 1981 and served as a naval flight officer from 1981 to 1989. Unfortunately, Susan has passed away, but we are glad that James is here and their banner flies together. They are both together on the flag, and we're happy that Corporal Paul Rip Van Buren, U.S. Army, World War II, 1944 to 1946. And we have our fire inspector here, and I'm sure we have enough people in this room, so you don't have to count. Hold on. Yeah, I counted. There's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. I kind of kicked the Boy Scouts out, but it's all right. All right. I know. Major Skylar Van Buren, U.S. Army, 2013 to present, Afghanistan. I believe he is their highest-ranking hero. He is. Yes. Specialist Edwin Vasquez, U.S. Army, Vietnam era. I'm not sure if he's here tonight. Staff Sergeant Lawrence A. Wagner, U.S. Army, 82nd and 101st Airborne Divisions, Vietnam. He was a maybe, so we'll make sure we mail that one to him. Let's see. Fire Control Technician, Petty Officer, 3rd class, Robert M. Walker, U.S. Navy, 1957 to 1962. Next one, we got one more for her. Yep. Where am I? Walker. That's the first one. Seaman Timothy R. Walker, U.S. Navy, 1977 to 1982. Specialist 4, Leonard R. Weinman, U.S. Army 42nd Field Artillery Group, 1957 to 1959. Another great smile. Radarman 3rd Class Daniel F. Wells, U.S. Navy, Vietnam War. Sergeant Bob Welsh, U.S. Marines, 1963 to 1966, Vietnam, wounded in action. No, I won't kiss you. And happy birthday, Bob. Birthday, Bob. Can't guess his age. Specialist Alfred C. Westmark, U.S. Army, 1954 to 1957, Vietnam era. Might get some feet. T4 Paul P. Williams, U.S. Army, 1943 to 1946. Command Master Sergeant John Rye. Say it right? Ray. Damn it. Ray, U.S. Air Force, 1980 to 2012, Iraq conflict. And last but not least, Staff Sergeant Michael Zanzarella, U.S. Air Force. He's not here, so we're going to get that one too. Okay. I would ask that...
Ken's here.
Ken DeRosa. Where's Ken? Come on up, Ken.
That's Ken. Wait, hold on. I gotta say it right, so hold on a second. I gotta get back. No. Hold on a second. Let me just get to my papers. In the beginning. Let's see. DeRosa. Specialist 4, Ken DeRosa, Gunner, 1st Cavalry Division, Vietnam War, 1970 to 1972. Okay, now I'd ask that the supervisor and Carmine just come to stand, represent your brother, and Ozzy, if you can stand for yourself. John, Brian, if you can stand up here with me, we're just going to recognize all of them together. I'd just like to ask the class of our first inaugural class to stand up and rise so that we can all acknowledge you and your family members.
I'm going to try one last thing. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to ask the last row to come forward, like in a wedding, and the rest, because we're going to try and take one group shot of everybody up here. We're just going to try it. So if the last row can come up, and then the next row, so we can all gather around here. We're going to try. We're just going to try. Sorry. Well, you said you wanted to leave it. You said you wanted to leave it. It's plugged in. It's got the wire. Yeah. We can all right, so everybody.
Who's got the camera?
Greg has one and Brooke has one. Yeah, we're going to try and come up here. I was trying to make it row by row.
Women first.
Next row. All of you come up. Billy, I see you sneaking out. Get up here.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Oh, you gotta go. No problem.
Hanging in there. I just came from the back.
They're show now. Just
It's pretty funny. Probably 30 years old. We've got a 5 or 3. But the NYU chemo doctor, either malevolence or incompetence, gave her this drug and this for everybody. 2 weeks later.
Everybody else, if you can just try and come forward, we're just going to give it one try. There's more room in the back, everybody. Yeah. Is Greg back there? Greg? All right, go ahead, try and. Yeah. All right, anybody else that's going to try and get in the picture, please move forward. Yep. Any of the heroes or representatives? Just turn around so we don't block our people in the front. All right, Greg is waving to us. All right. All right, everybody look up at Greg, tall guys in the back. Mary, please come forward. Mary, get over here, Mary. Get up here, Mary, for your father. Get up here, girlfriend. Wait, Greg, wait.
trying to hide back here.
I'm trying, I know you're
Okay. All right. All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break so everybody can disperse.
I saw you guys that front.
Oh, did you?
86.
Troop 86, I'm
That
glad.
was my troop 20 years ago.
All right. All right. I had the pleasure of constantly running into June Bellis every time I go get my eyes examined, and we finally discovered Troop Boy Scout, da-da-da, and I went, you guys got to come here and let's see how the youth are handling, you know, the Boy Scouts of today, Scouts of today, I have to leave the boy off. I just think we're so lucked out because of what we just had, World War II, and all the other veterans from Vietnam, Korea, and everything else, and now you guys here, I just think it's a beautiful contrast. So I know we have John Rose, and Emma, I didn't get your last name. Melanie. All right, John is going to talk a little bit about the troop.
All right. Good evening and hello, everyone. My name is John Rose. Of course, I'm with Troop 86. Full name is 3086, but we really just call us Troop 86. I'm here to give a speech about scouting. So, currently I am our troop's SPL, which stands for Senior Patrol Leader. That means I run the troop in terms of the scout level. Above me is the scoutmaster, who is totally in charge, but I am still mostly in charge. Scouting isn't, as simple terms, is an organization dedicated to the development of leadership, outdoorsmanship, and citizenship skills of both boys and girls in our community. Scouting has two main sections for our younger and older scouts. The younger section is called PAC. Do we have? Well, the one PAC member we had today is not here, but what we do in PAC, what PAC is done is mainly run by adults, but it is more focused on just overall development of outdoor skills. And then you have the troop level, which is what we are in. The troop level is mainly run by the scouts, which is all of us. Like I said, I was senior patrol leader, so I'm totally in charge of that. So, like I said, it was mainly run by scouts. Scouts can participate from kindergarten to 12th grade, so 18 is when basically the final year, but you can still participate in scouts afterwards. So as scouts, we do a lot of community service. So some of the community service we do is we've worked with the VFW, which is the Veterans Hall, which is where we are based, if I am correctly. We used to be based at the VFW. We do clean up trails for hiking trails around us. Some ones we did recently was at Stony Kill Farm. We've also done, well, among other things, that's some of the main ones. But in scouting, we also do a lot of events that allow us to see other places, other parts of the country, and just see other things. So some of the things we've done is we've done overnights at aquariums, where we go to the aquarium for the day and sleep overnight and see the rest of the aquarium. We've also done a night on the Intrepid, which is the aircraft carrier in New York City. We went to West Point, we've done whitewater rafting trips, a bunch of fun things. Extremely recommend if you have the opportunity. So as scouts, there's two main things we can earn. There's merit badges, which I have a sash right here, and ranks, which my rank is on the past year. What ranks and merit badges show is your proficiency in a given skill set. So, for example, I have one here, woodworking, which is working with wood tools and creating objects. Then there's ranks, which is when you've mastered several different skills. So, for example, I am life, which I've had to have led other scouts. I've had to have learned how to do several different things. I've had, like I said, woodworking. I've do some things part of the community. We do service projects where we go, like I said earlier, we go to the community, do some things with different organizations. The highest of the ranks that you can earn is Eagle. Eagle is the pinnacle of our organization. Very few have ever achieved Eagle. I don't know the exact percentages, but it's very small of people who have actually achieved Eagle. Eagle Scouts represent the best of scouting. It's very long dedication to reach scouting. Right? So I have been a scout for 9 years. Very impacted me. Very changed my life. Great. I extremely recommend it. If to anyone this evening is interesting, our email is troop86leaders@gmail.com. If you recommend, you can look into that. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass it on to my presentation on Emma, and she will finish up. Thank you.
Hi. Hi, my name is Emma Bellis, and I am the ASPL of Troop 86G. We meet as a joint troop with boys. It's great because we get to learn outdoor and leadership skills. We also learn from each other. We have a planning meeting to plan our meetings and campouts throughout the year. Scouts BSA is run by the Scouts, Scouts BSA is run by the Scouts, so we get to choose which adventures we want to go on. Of course, the adult leaders assist us in the planning process. Girls and boys are encouraged to join if they are interested in learning leadership skills, developing social and personal skills through troop activities, and making new friends while having fun. Troop 86 was started in 1968 and was originally Troop 68. Over the years and after switching charter organizations, we are now Troop 86 and chartered with the American Legion Manny Beacon Post.
Emma, thank you. And John, I guess are you finished, Emma? Okay. Thank you, guys. Just a couple of questions, maybe everyone else does. Who's a tenderfoot only right now? Do they still have tenderfoot as a rank? They
It's
do.
still rank,
Okay.
but are
Is
you
tenderfoot like the very first rank you can get?
The first rank is Scout.
Scout. Okay. And then tenderfoot?
Scout, yes.
Okay. Good. So I got 2 ranks. I got to tenderfoot. Yes, tenderfoot. Yes. But you guys, do you really like, as it brought, like, you got more friends, and it's just really opens up your horizons as far as things to do and possibilities? And do you recommend it to kids out there to get involved?
I extremely recommend it.
Yeah, and just no regrets whatsoever.
No regrets.
God
Definitely
bless
not.
all of you. I don't know if there's other questions, but God bless all of you.
What's
We
your
got
rank?
before you leave, unless there's
Your
no other
tenderfoot?
question. You got a question? Okay. I just want to make sure we take a picture before you go.
He's
And can we get the Boy Scout oath, please?
Why don't we start with that?
So, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to guide my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
I love it.
Way to go.
Let's give him a round of applause. Round of applause. Round of applause. Are you guys done?
So what rank is everybody?
I'm a first-class scout.
A what?
He's first class.
First class Scout.
I'm life.
I'm Life. I'm Tenderfoot. I'm first class.
I'm second class.
Wow.
All
You
right.
guys are awesome.
Want to get a picture, right?
Get a picture.
Let's get a picture. You guys too, come on.
So glad you guys came. So glad you came. Hey, pal, didn't you just get a rank? Didn't you just get a higher rank? I see that.
Oh, yeah, on Facebook, yes.
Oh, that's right, Scouts. Oh, tenderfoot. 1, 2, 3, say tenderfoot. Tenderfoot. Excellent. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you so much. That was good.
Thank you very much.
My friend, thank you so much. Well, I got your email. I know where to find her. Awesome. All right. Krista, come. Okay. All right.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me here, Town Supervisor.
Could you tell everyone viewing who you are and what you do?
Yep,
Yeah.
no, I definitely will. So I am Krista Hines, and I'm the Executive Director of Hudson River Housing. And again, I want to thank you for inviting me here tonight to talk a little bit about the work that we do. I did provide a presentation that we're going to try to go through. I'm going to try to be brief. There's a lot of information in here. But I'm welcome to answer questions or, maybe come back at another time to talk more. I know that Councilmember Rye was interested in hearing about our veteran programs, and I just have to say the ceremony earlier was really amazing, and I really commend the town of Fishkill for doing that. Hudson River Housing is really committed to serving our veterans. We have lots of programs all throughout the county. Did you have a question? You look like...
I have many, but go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so a little overview of Hudson River Housing. We are based in the city of Poughkeepsie. We're a not-for-profit organization. We were founded back in 1982, so we've been around for about 41 years. I've had the privilege of working with Hudson River Housing for 25 years. I was the CFO for 17 years, and I became the executive director back in 2017. So if we go to the next slide, a little bit about who we are. Actually, one more slide, sorry. And this is really small, so I'm just going to kind of summarize basically what we do. We're an affordable housing developer and services provider. We're also a community development organization, which essentially means that we're really grassroots. We really care about what communities want. We don't come in and, necessarily want to change anything in communities. We really want to hear what communities are looking for in terms of housing and other needs. And I'll go through a little bit more about the services that we provide. We do more than just housing, but we also do business development and other supports for communities. So we were founded back in '82. During that time in the county, there was a real homelessness crisis, which sadly there still is today. The county executive at the time founded us. They created a task force. They created us as a way to address homelessness. And that really remains very much a core of what we do. But we don't like to just address a crisis. We really want to move people out of homelessness and poverty into something more stable, empower people to give them the tools that they need to survive and be really strong community members. But obviously our vision is a world without homelessness. That would be really nice. And also where there's sufficient housing that everyone can afford in communities that they want to live in. So our mission, we provide a whole continuum of housing options. We provide shelter services, so we're the operator of the only emergency shelter in Dutchess County, which is currently in the city of Poughkeepsie. We're trying to offer more services in other parts of the county because there are clearly needs in lots of parts of the county in terms of housing. So we provide emergency housing, transitional housing, affordable housing, and lots of wraparound services for all of the folks that we serve. Not only our own residents, but community members to the public, essentially. This is our leadership team. So we have a staff of 200 people, which is a real lot for a nonprofit, but because we have a lot of residential programs that provide 24-hour services. So we have food service staff, we have housekeeping staff, a full facilities team, property management, obviously administrative staff, and our goal is really to create more housing, not just affordable housing, but a mix of different incomes, which I'll talk about in a minute. So we have a VP of Real Estate Development who oversees all of our new projects, and obviously a VP of Facilities who oversees our existing projects. So there's basically 5 different focus areas that we have. I already mentioned emergency and affordable housing. We also do home buyer education. We have what's called a homeownership center. It's at our main office in the city of Poughkeepsie, where we offer basically anything you need to know to become a homeowner. We really focus on first-time home buyers, but we will also work with anyone that's already a homeowner. We do post-purchase counseling. So we help people through the whole process of getting a mortgage, working on your credit, building a budget. Obviously, we want to make sure that people stay stably housed, so we do offer foreclosure prevention assistance if people are starting to fall into arrears. We work with lenders to try to work through mortgage situations. We have classes. I'll talk about that in a little bit. We also offer vocational training and small business support, as I mentioned, real estate development, I mentioned, and then specialized support services, not only for veterans, but we have senior programs and many programs for youth. So I mentioned this, we provide what we call care management to all of our residents. We really try to surround them with all the supports that they need to stay stably housed, which includes connecting them to employment. That's really a major focus that we have to make sure that they have income to sustain their housing, but we offer lots of other services as well. And in 2022, we provided 995 adults with emergency shelter, and that was just in one of our programs. We developed over 1,300 units of housing since the early 80s, all different types of affordable housing for lots of different income levels. We manage these units ourselves and in partnership with some of our partners. And we also offer what we call housing navigation. So this is for people that aren't in our programs yet, but folks that are looking for affordable housing. We administered a lot of rent relief programs during COVID for the county. We are still administering some of those programs currently, even though some of the state programs have ended. There are still a few available for county folks that are looking for housing. So people just basically have to call our number, and we have housing counselors there to assist. Let's see, next slide. Homebuyer education. So I mentioned we have classes. We do group education, which is essentially classes that are very low cost, talking about all the different components of home ownership. We also do one-on-one counseling. This house in the picture is actually a home that we just built. So as I said, we do real estate development in collaboration with home ownership and rental. So we're in the process of selling this home. It's a two-family. Happens to be in the city of Poughkeepsie, but we do projects outside of the city. Actually, currently we're working on one in Amenia. First-time home buyer, available to people at 80% of AMI. So reduced, but close to the AMI for the county. And it offers a rental unit which helps them pay the mortgage. I already mentioned financial health classes and foreclosure intervention. Vocational training and small business support. So we renovated a building in the city of Poughkeepsie called the Poughkeepsie Underwear Factory a few years ago. It was an old vacant building.
That was you guys? I've been there.
That was us. That was a labor of love. It took us 7 years, but we renovated this old factory building. We created 15 apartments for market rate, 11 affordable, and 3 floors of commercial space. We run all of our vocational training programs out of this building. We have a program called Heroes Making Heroes that operates out of our commercial kitchen. It helps people learn the skills of culinary, and we connect folks to restaurants and culinary, institutions. And a lot of the folks that we work with, it's not solely this case, but are people that are in our programs or that have experienced homelessness. So we're trying to get them back into the workforce. We also have, well, there's a few other things. That's okay. We have other tracks as well. HRH Made is one. Downtown Stewardship is another, where we take folks out to clean up the streets, do flower boxes for businesses. Most of those are teenage youth that are doing that program. Mentioned the open kitchen. So in addition to our vocational programs, we rent out the kitchen on an hourly basis to anyone that wants to start a business, a food business. We've incubated already 7 very successful businesses. Hudson and Packard is a pizzeria that is very popular, that came through the Poughkeepsie Underwear Factory. We're very proud of that, and many others. It's been a really good start for people that didn't have the capability to start their small business themselves. So actually 55 small businesses we've incubated through the Poughkeepsie Open Kitchen. SOPO is a sewing program that we just started. We're trying to figure out how this is going to go, but it's basically people that are wanting to get into the textile industry or even just take some sewing classes. So we're offering that, and we also have some art studios. Real estate development. So this is really our bread and butter. Essentially, we're really trying to produce more affordable housing. As we all know, the county's in a severe housing crisis. It takes a really long time to develop housing, but we're trying really hard to do this. So we do small renovations. We also do historic preservation. We've done 4 historic, such as the Underwear Factory was a historic building that we preserved, and we do new construction. So to date, we've developed almost 1,500 units of housing, $203 million invested in the county over those years. And as I mentioned in the very beginning, we're really very community-oriented. We want to hear what communities need. We want to offer our services outside of the city of Poughkeepsie. Obviously, the city of Poughkeepsie is where we started, but we currently have a Northeastern Dutchess initiative that we've been working on for about 7 years. Amenia, Millerton, Pine Plains have reached out to us to see if they can work with us to address some of their housing issues. So we've been actively working in Northern Dutchess as well. Veteran services, so we're really proud of our veteran services. Tommy Zerhellen is a board member. I'm not sure if everyone knows him, but he's a Navy veteran who walked across the country. With the proceeds of his walk, we were able to buy this vehicle, and we provide free service, free transportation to any veteran in Dutchess County. We've provided 1,300 rides just in 2022 alone. This is a really great service that we are really proud to be able to offer to our veterans. Just going back, in addition to transportation, we obviously have housing for veterans. We have a home in the city of Poughkeepsie for homeless veterans, 26 units. We have women veteran project in the city of Poughkeepsie as well. And we offer lots of services for any veteran that's in need of housing can call our veteran specialist, and we will connect them or give them resources. We work with a lot of other veteran organizations. And we have lots of programs for youth. This is our youth shelter. Sadly, this is for youth as young as 10 years old up to 17 that are homeless or having issues with their families. We have a drop-in center for youth. We have lots of staff that are trained and working with young people of this population that are struggling with housing insecurity. And lastly, I think the next page, my elder services. So we also offer services to veterans. We have some senior housing. We have a project in Red Hook. We have a project in Poughkeepsie, and we also have senior housing in Orange County. And I think we're getting close to the end. Well, homeless outreach, I mentioned, we're definitely in a housing crisis all throughout the county. We have street outreach services, so if you are experiencing in your town anyone that's struggling with housing insecurity, you can call us. We will go out, we will talk with them, we'll try to connect them to services through our street outreach, because we know a lot of people don't want to come to the city of Poughkeepsie to the shelter. They'd rather stay in the towns that they're used to, so we understand that. We want to meet people where they're at. And let's see, that's it. And then just lots of ways you can help. But just inviting me here was a great way to get the word out, so thank you.
Well, yes, thank you. I will just say that I had no idea how comprehensive you guys are. I had no idea, so I'm glad. By the way, Ms. Hines and I met in prison.
Yes, we did.
We're taking a tour of the prison. I remember. Yeah. And we just started talking, and I went, oh, you've got to come down here and talk about this stuff. So I'm glad we finally connected and made that happen. And I want to follow up with you at another time, because I know we've gotten long here. A lot of the questions I have, and I'm wondering what we may be able to do for the town of Fishkill programmatically, but I'll follow up with you.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. Okay, so I'm going to spin some stuff around. I'm going to jump up to introduction of new employees. So anybody, I'm going to switch, what?
Acceptance of minutes. We should.
All right,
Just get that done quickly.
I apologize. So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes, special meeting, May 12th, May 3rd, presented as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is introduction of new employees. Anybody that's been employed?
Can I have the regular meeting?
Bring up the new employees.
Oh,
Bring them up.
sorry.
Anybody getting hiring today? Come on up.
Come on up. Yes. All right.
All right. Good evening, Supervisor and members of the town board. Apologize, I lost my voice over the weekend, and I'm still trying to get it back. I'm Jason Mayd. I'm Recreation Director for the town of Fishkill, and I'm here to introduce some of our new town councils for this coming summer. First one is Jay Castellazzi.
Hello, Jay.
Did you want them to say something?
You can say hello to the residents. Where are you from, Jay?
I live right across the street.
Good.
Don't be late for work. All right.
If you're late for work, we'll come see you. Thank you.
Cool.
Next one is Gabriela Diaz.
Hi.
Where are you from, Gabrielle?
I'm from actually right across the Dutchess Stadium.
Oh,
all right.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
And last but not least is Veronica Coy.
Hi, everyone. I'm from Hopewell Junction, so not too far either.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for tonight. We're lucky we have a lot of returning councils, so didn't have to fill a lot of open positions, but this is going to be a really great team this year, and looking forward to another great summer.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks very much for your time.
Bye-bye.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Introduce you.
Hey guys, first off I want to thank you for letting me come up and speak. My name is Sean Cadden. I'm currently a student at the University of Buffalo studying to be a teacher. While I'm home for the summer, I'm applying to be a seasonal laborer for the Buildings and Grounds Department, and I think it'd be a great opportunity for me to pick up some new skills and aid my community.
Any questions?
Questions?
Thank you, welcome to Fishkill.
And that's your dad in the back there, and we all have a lot of respect for him.
Okay.
So, good job.
Excellent. So let's get that, got town planner. Okay, next up will be privilege of the floor for general town items.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Eddie Colon. This is Melissa.
Melinda.
Melinda.
Melinda Potter. I am the current president of the Fishkill Rotary. Thank you for having me here tonight. We are here tonight specifically to thank the town for their assistance with our 2 service projects that we just completed on May 6th and May 20th. There was a tremendous show of effort from the town. I don't like the microphone.
I know, I'm sorry.
Tremendous show of effort and participation from the town, and we truly appreciate your support in our endeavors. I just wanted to give you some numbers of the things that we were able to accomplish in 2 days with just about 5 hours of time. So May 6th and May 20th combined, which was our Riverkeeper event and our Rotary Day of Service, we had 62 total volunteers. So Rotarians, town board members, community members, a group called Trout Unlimited, members from Mama's Towing, Ballistics Body Works, the Rotary of Fishkill, and the John Jay Interact Club comprised that number of 62 people. What we collected. So total mixed garbage was 148 bags. 50 bags of recycle only, 5 shopping carts, 20 tires, Greg?
Greg,
1 couch, 1 TV, and 4 yards of debris, bulk trash. That's a lot of debris in a small area that we covered, which was 3 sites on the 6th that we covered and 3 sites on the 20th. So, and we could have done so much more given more time and more effort, but you know, 62 is a large number of people, and I think we did an incredible job. So thank you again. We really, truly appreciate your support, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be there. Anybody else like to speak? Heard to the floor? Oh, you're not done?
No, not done.
I apologize, sir.
Well, today I'm representing the Fishkill Food Pantry. And again, we give you thanks for your support and the scheduling for the food drive on June the 10th. From
June 10th, right? Is
Yeah.
that what you just said?
June 10th, right?
10th from 9 to 3.
Yes.
9 to 2, excuse me.
To 2, from 9 to 2. And just to give you a little quick summary up, on Saturday, the food pantry collected $485 in donations. And Councilor Carmine Isvan and his wife mashed up the funds. So he wrote a check for the food pantry for $500.
Thank you, Carl.
Wow.
We're still far from getting there. Today, just put a little stats in here. Monday, we fed 12 families, that's 25 people. On Tuesday, 17 family, 47 people. Today, as of 5:30 when I left, there was 20 families, 62 people. A total of 134 people in 3 days, 49 families. So we have a long way to go, and but with your support, we will get there. So we thank you and appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Carmine, thank you.
Thank you.
Ready to go, Carl?
Thank you.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just one point, I think that, I know it's going to go out in a newsletter appropriately, but since we're talking about it and have everyone's attention, this will be in front of the, just like we did last year, the drive-through and the turnaround in front of the police station. There'll be a setup there, so just load up your car, come drive through, we'll unload it, and it's hassle-free. So that's the location. I just wanted people to know.
Yeah, and we're going to see about a canopy in case it's either very sunny or a little rainy to keep people and their groceries dry.
Oh, I'll bring it. I'll bring a canopy.
There you go.
Rain, shine, or snow, we will be there.
Be there, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks again, guys. Thank you for all your work.
Thanks, Eddie.
Anybody else? Mr. Olkin?
My name's Carl Oken. I live on Mountain View Road in Fishkill. First and foremost, Louise is a beautiful program.
Thank you.
Really touched a lot of people. I know there was a lot of emotions flowing through the room. So thank you.
You're welcome.
A
Thank you.
couple of areas of concern that I've had recently in the town are assessed values going up. Now, the assessed values going up may not reflect any additional money this year paid out in taxes. I realize that because probably the tax rate's going to decline. But after this fantastic board is gone, and we're living in this town and for the next, hopefully another 30 years at least, there's going to be times when the tax rate goes up. And when that tax rate goes up, these increases in our assessments are going to force people to pay more taxes. It's pretty simple math. The more my home is assessed for, the higher the rates go up, the more I'm going to pay. So while the last couple of years has been outstanding and our rates have not gone up because the town board's done a wonderful job of reducing the rate of tax, the assessments are going up tremendously, and someday it's going to change.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody needs to remember that when we're doing our reassessments, because we're going to get taxed out. And it's happened before. It happens with our stock market. When things go up, things are good, everybody's happy as can be. And when things are not going so well, things get a little bit tighter. And being a retired person now, I started looking at it a little bit different. I'm not out there banging away and getting raises or promotions, so my income's pretty settled for the rest of my life unless I go back to work. And I don't really wish to do that right now. So I just hope that the town board takes a look at that and really considers that. The other thing on Mountain View Road that occurred this year was Johnson Estates. And Johnson Estates, I'm 65 years old. I've been living in this community probably 50 years. I was born and raised there. I rode my bicycle through there. We had jumps, we had mini bikes. We did everything on the Johnson Estates property. Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Johnson's ideal situation in life was Mark and Reed Johnson, their two sons, were going to live there happily ever after, but they had their own lives ahead of them, and they moved to various parts across the country. So eventually they passed away, and actually one of our neighbors, one of the people I grew up with, bought that property and is having it developed. What I don't understand is why we allow the developers to cut down all the trees prior to the plans being approved. If the plans were approved, everything's set, you can go in there, do your perk test, do all your Board of Health stuff, but why they allow them to cut down, I can't even guess. I walked in there a little ways, but it was dangerous with all the trees being down. They must have cut down over 100 trees in there. And I know everybody takes notice to what's going on Route 9 on the southern part of the town. Everybody's coming up in there and a very political generated issue of, Continental Commons in there. And everybody's seeing that, but there's other areas in the town that are also affected by this policy. So I know there's people out there that want to conserve the trees. I do too. But if the people that own the property want to cut them down and put houses, the planning board approves it, I understand totally. I wasn't in favor of it. I'm a little concerned about the depths of our well there. Some of the wells, mine included, is only 68 feet deep, and I don't feel like putting up another well to be dug in there. But the thing about dropping all these trees, and now you're going to leave them there until they get to the point everything's approved. So if we allowed them to drop the trees during this period of the year to avoid the bats, I understand. Why don't we do it once all the plans are approved? And I really think that the town needs to consider that. They can wait, get everything approved. What if the plans don't get approved? We've now destroyed all those woods in there that were beautiful areas. So I just hope the town council and the town planning board can take a look at those things. And again, I'm part of the Veterans Committee here in town, so it's quite an honor to be here today and see all of this. And I appreciate the board and all their support for the veterans in the community. I'm not a veteran, but my dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather was, so I'm doing it for them. And I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
And we do have we are talking about the trees and we're going to pass local town codes to deal with that, so we are working on that.
Yeah, I just think we need to wait until everything's finalized.
I agree.
And then let them drop the tree. And so if their project gets delayed 6 months, it gets delayed 6 months.
I think everybody on the board agrees with you on
I don't
that.
think it needs to be rushed in like we're doing it right now.
I think we all
Because if
agree
it doesn't
with
get
you.
approved, we just dropped 100 trees, and what are we going to do now?
Hey, Carl, also, our assessments are governed by law, so there's certain protocols that our assessor has to follow to do the assessment, so it's beyond our control.
I know, we're kind of handcuffed with that, but I think if, it doesn't happen to all towns, and it depends on the style of assessment that we have. I know we have 100%.
Correct.
I realize that, and at one time, that was probably the way for the town to go. And now that everything's really healthy and everybody's enjoying the migration of people, and, you know, when you buy your house for $80,000 and sell it for $600,000, everybody's really happy. But the other people that are still living here, their lives, they're not so happy.
Yeah, we just got done with the assessment for the last month, and actually yesterday it was the Board of Assessment Review, and it went pretty good.
Yep.
So the people understand our messages to the residents, and they get it, and we are going to cut that tax rate quite a bit.
Good.
So that's our commitment.
Yeah, I'm just
And-
concerned with the next board and the next board and the next board.
Well, you know, previous boards would claim when your assessed value went up, they cut your tax rate 0.01%, claim they gave you a tax cut even though you pay more in taxes. We just tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to
Well, listen,
continue to do
I think
that.
everybody tells the truth. I think they have a version of how they're
Yeah.
going to save the money.
Yes.
And I can't look backwards all the time. I got to look forward.
10-4.
And, you know, what those people did, they did, and they were doing it in the best interest of the town. I think I give everybody credit for getting up here and doing the job representing the town. So I'm not going to look backwards. I'm not going to, you know, throw darts. We're just moving forward. I'm just concerned with the future
Well,
of our people.
Just for example, going forward, we got quite a bit of commercial development coming to the town. We got at least 250 new homes in the next 3-4 years to bring in revenue. I'm working on a waterfront project that's probably going to bring maybe $120 million of taxable money. So you're talking in the next 2-3 years, maybe $400 million in taxable money, maybe 5% added to the assessed rolls. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, we just hope that our assessment doesn't go up another 30%.
Well, the tax rate will go down.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hogan, well said. Anybody else? Thank you. Oh, Mr. Russ, Mr. O'Malley.
What are you doing sitting on there?
You didn't see him. I wasn't looking over there. He blended in, too.
Good evening Supervisor Albert.
evening.
Good evening, town board members. Just a comment. Last meeting, there was a discussion about trees, excess tree cutting and tree clearing. At one point, a town of Fishkill Planning Board member, a member who is also the comprehensive update, who's on the Comprehensive Update Committee, you know that committee whose major concern is the preservation of green spaces, the creation of parks, and of natural rail trails. Well, this planning board member stood before this planning board and said, quote, "Trees, trees, trees, we have plenty of trees. We have a mountain of trees." No offense, but I beg to differ. Deforestation is the major environmental issue on this planet. Every minute from the Amazon to your hometown, thousands of acres of trees are felled in the name of progress. Trees are reasons why humans can breathe, eat, and live on this planet, not to mention virtually every other living organism. If we live by the town board members' opinion and continue to decimate our forest land here in the town of Fishkill, the day will come when the only trees we'll be able to see will be those saved inside the storage unit in a Fishkill Cube Smart. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. Let it go. Anybody else? Okay. So I want to do supervisor comments. Let's do liaison reports, supervisor comments, and then we'll do the state of the town. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so go on, Louise.
Let's see, for the rec center, the seniors enjoyed a Mother's Day craft with the Verplank Garden Club, of which I am a proud new member. Thank you. They are looking forward to the 4th of July barbecue on June 30th and some upcoming nice trips. They're going to see Gypsy and have lunch in Connecticut. They have a 2-day trip to Lancaster planned. They're going to Brownstone in New Jersey to see Jersey Dreamers Band and have lunch. And let's see, Jay told me that they're having the gym floors refinished, so the center will be closed through Monday, May 29th, while it's being completed. They schedule the project right before Memorial Day weekend every year because they have less groups that need to kick he said they have less groups that they need to kick out for the project, and it takes a couple of days. So it'll be back open on Tuesday. They had tonight staff hires that we met. Officer Nisbet will be at the Recreation Center on Friday, June 2nd, around 12 p.m. to speak to the seniors about current scams and other tricks that are currently happening right here in Fishkill. He will talk about how to recognize a scam and what to do if you are presented with one. This will also be a great opportunity to meet and talk with our community officers. He said the summer programs are filling up fast. Don't wait to register. Register online at fishkillrecreation.com. As far as water, I met with Mike from Camo to review some of our town water issues. For the ambulance, I spoke with Olympia, who confirmed that the ambulance company we are using has been sold, but our contract remains the same. I stopped by the highway garage on Tuesday to see where the new building will be going, and John was nice enough to show me the location next to the salt shed, as well as the pieces of the building that were behind there that will hopefully soon be going up. And I also had a chance to say hello to Glenn, our highway superintendent. And I also worked with the Verplank Garden Club flower sale for the Mother's Day flower sale, which was a huge success. And that's it.
Carl.
Good evening, everybody. Update on the rec center roof. We're getting close. We had our engineer CPL meet with the engineer of the installer. We had some questions, so we're very close of pulling the trigger on that. So hopefully in a month or so. We are working Doug's Phillips Park, the Sensory Park, and the pickleball, and the fence have been installed, so the blacktop and the fence has been installed. The contractor to install the Sensory Park talked to Brandon ahead of our building and grounds. God bless. They're setting up staging, so hopefully soon we can install the park. Over at Camp Foster, the aerator was installed.
It's in?
Yes.
Does it work?
I have a picture. It's beautiful. If anybody don't know where Camp Foster is, it's on Old Castle Point Road. Beautiful park. I walked it for the first time, and I live right around the corner. It's absolutely very beautiful. They installed also electric to the gazebo over there, so now we have power. So the guys have done a great job with that. They did it all themselves. So kudos to the building and grounds, Brandon and his crew. That's all I have.
We'll follow up that we're doing the building ourselves, doing highway.
So in the highway, the building that we are actually installing, we are actually doing the labor, part of the labor of digging for the footings, and also that'll help us save some funds by us using our excavator and our crew to do all the digging, and then we have a contractor coming in to pour the concrete, and then we have a contractor who's going to erect the building. So we're hopefully going to start that very soon.
John.
Okay, thank you. I attended both cleanups in Fishkill, 2 of the last 3 Saturdays. A couple weeks ago, I attended a PERMA conference. They are the organization who writes the workers' compensation for the town. I attended a breakfast at the Hughesonville Fire District as well as the Roundabout Fire District on 2 different Sundays. I participated in a fundraiser to raise money to help fight multiple sclerosis in New Paltz. It was a clay shoot. I shot a shotgun for the first time, and I have a bruise right here to prove it. Okay.
He was
I'll
holding
learn how to shoot
correctly.
the next time.
Yeah.
I attended the annual Community Day at the Elks Club in Beacon. Other vendors that were there were the Fishkill Cadets, the Beacon PD, the Sheriff's Office, State Police, Environmental Conservation, and of course BVAC. Of course, it rained that day, right, Carl? It did. I attended the block party in the village, and I'll throw this in. I went to a Yankee game. They were down 6-0. I left, and they won 9-8. That's all I have.
Thank you, John.
That's the same deal.
Perfect. Brian?
Yes. Let's see, I also went by a highway and basically have found out that, and looked at the items that are on the agenda for surplus, and they certainly need to be sold, and I certainly agree with their itemization and coming on the agenda tonight. Highway work is going to go on as follows. Greenwood Drive should be done in August. 3,000 feet of new pipe, 50 new catch basins will be milled and will be resurfaced. There's no dates on that as of yet. Willow Road, Belvedere Road should be done in September. 200 feet of pipe, 3 catch basins. Magnolia Drive will be resurfaced. No date yet set for that. Brookside Drive, Wildwood Drive, 500 feet of pipe and 6 new basins. So those are the items with highway right now that I think are important. Attended the recent Fishkill Veterans Committee, and I just really am proud of the fact that we have gone from 0 representation to now about 25 solid members. Is that about right, Virgil?
Yes, and an established committee.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You're taking away my thunder. What we have is Virgil Capillari, who I just referenced here, who's doing a great job in organizing this committee. And we do have now a mission statement as of last week, and we created, this committee has created officers in it. Is that true, Virgil? Is there something else that I'm missing? No. So it's becoming more formalized and structured, which is what we want, so it's an ongoing entity. I also attended the Rotary cleanup the first day. I came the second day late because I was working with our historian on a project, and I got to see Carmine work, and I encouraged him to work harder, and he did a good job. In addition to that, the block party was fun. I took a tour of all the water districts with Mr. Tremper, and I enjoyed that education because I need it, and we'll be doing some more conversations. It's part of my gaining more knowledge about infrastructure in the town. Another thing that of recent that we have had a discussion about is filming in the community, and so an update on that is I met with, let me get that, hold on one second. Ben Swanson, he's secretary to the mayor in the city of Beacon. He seems to be handling all of the permitting for the city of Beacon. He and I discussed their growth from start to where they are now, and it's still, there are a lot of things that they handle and do handle. They have a lot of demand there. I really don't foresee the town of Fishkill having a lot of demand, but still we need to be prepared. So my plan of attack is to take this information. I'm going to be meeting with the city of Poughkeepsie individual that handles permitting there, and then I'll combine that and come back and give a report on all of that at a future date. And that's all I have. I attended the flower sale. I loved it, and I was at the Ron breakfast as well. Thank you.
Just when you do your film thing, work with Mr. Gaba so we can figure out how to pass a law with those issues that we want to discuss.
Yeah, I thought we would discuss like fees and all different things, and then we could throw it at Gaba.
Okay.
You know,
That's
does that
fine.
sound good?
All right, that's fine.
You know.
All right. So I just want to mention, Fishkill played host Tuesday to Dutchess County Executive William F.X. O'Neill and Putnam County Executive Kevin Byrne, who joined me for a press conference to discuss New York City's ongoing migrant relocation program and its effect on the Hudson Valley. The 3 leaders were joined outside Town Hall by Deputy Supervisor Hal Brilliant, Town Council members Louise Daniele, John Foreman, Carmen Estevan, and Brian Rye, as well as East Fishkill Supervisors Nicholas D'Alessandro, Town of Poughkeepsie Supervisor Jay Baisley, and Town of Wappinger Supervisor Dr. Richard Thurston. County Executive O'Neill told reporters that 86 migrants are currently being housed at the Red Roof Inn in Poughkeepsie, and that New York City did not notify the county before making the move. As the 3 of us were speaking, lawyers representing Dutchess County were handed a victory in court as Judge Maria Rosa granted a temporary restraining order prohibiting the City of New York from sending any further migrants to Dutchess County for at least 30 days. The county executives and I hope the ruling will incentivize New York City to come to the table with upstate leaders to develop a strategic and coordinated plan to relocate migrants to regions that can accommodate their arrival and offer potential employment opportunities for migrants who can obtain work authorization after being processed by immigration officials. Executive O'Neill said one possible solution could be create a skill set inventory where individuals could indicate their professional abilities and match with a job opportunity after obtaining employment authorization, but call on state and federal leaders to take the lead to develop and implement the plan. As town officials, the town board and I have been united in our reaction to the ongoing situation. Earlier this month, the board voted unanimously to empower the town attorney and building inspector to enforce town zoning code provisions as they relate to this matter. After Tuesday's legal ruling in Dutchess County's suit, the town board issued a following joint statement, which I'd like to read to everyone. The town board is dedicated to hearing the compassion and concern of the residents of Fishkill regarding the New York City Migrant Relocation Program. Today, as with every day, we affirm our commitment to keeping the residents informed as the situation develops and enforcing our town code to benefit our community. Next up will be our 2023 Memorial Day schedule. 10:30 at Town Hall at the War Memorial between the police station and the rec building. Will be at 10:30 wreath laying at Town War Memorial Park. Then at 11 o'clock, there's going to be a ceremony at the Fishkill Rural Cemetery, after which I'll make a presentation with our Veteran Committee. And then at 1:30, the Village of Fishkill Parade and Ceremony. The weather's supposed to be really nice. I hope everybody can attend. And that's all I got for supervisor comments. So the next up will be the State of the Town presentation. Greg, cue it up.
Could you pass these down? Okay, thanks.
Take one. Thank you.
Welcome, Fishkill residents, to the 2023 Town of Fishkill State of the Town at my home in Fishkill, New York. I'm Ozzy Alba, the Town Supervisor, and I'd like to reintroduce myself to the residents. Over the last 4 years, we've seen many people come into the town, so I'd like to just give you a little update who I am. I'm married for over 20 years, and I have 4 kids. I grew up locally in Beacon and graduated Beacon High School in 1984. I served in the United States Army honorably. I'm a long-time resident of Fishkill. I moved here in 1997. And I take pride in our community ever since. I began attending town board meetings as an engaged citizen back in 2002. By the time I was elected supervisor, I had already been to more than 400 town board meetings. It turned out to be very helpful as I learned a lot about the role of the town supervisor by attending these meetings. I'd like to give the new residents a little opportunity to find out the history of the town of Fishkill. Fishkill belonged to the Wappinger people, and it was purchased by the Dutch and eventually settled by the English. Fishkill is a proud constitutional town. By that I am referring to the New York State Constitution, which was printed right here in Fishkill in 1777. Everyone watching this joins me in reaffirming our commitment to the U.S. Constitution and our state constitution as well. Fishkill is also a historical community rich with many sites of interest. We have the First Reformed Church, the Trinity Church, we have the Van Wyck Homestead, the Fishkill Supply Depot, we have the Underground Railroad, the Mount Goulian Historical Site, the Roundabout Rural Cemetery, and many, many more points of historical importance. This history is a source of great community pride and something that the town has worked hard in recent years to preserve and promote. The history of the town government is something that people should know. They ask me, what is a town supervisor? The town supervisor is basically the person that runs the day-to-day operations in the town of Fishkill. We have 4 council persons. We have Louise Daniele, John Foreman, Carmine Estevan, and Brian Rye. I have the privilege of serving with them and former council persons Jackie Bardini, Ori Brackfeld, Joe Bono, and Kenya Gaston. My town clerk, Becky Tompkins, has been great. She is an extreme asset. Finally, after a run of 60 years, our town highway superintendent, Glenn Schofield Sr., will be retiring. And his public service is unparalleled. I thank you, Mr. Schofield, for your service to the citizens of the town of Fishkill. He will be replaced by Carmine Estevan, and I wish Carmine the best in that role. Town Justices Harold Epstein and Rob Abrahamba, they both will be retiring this year. So next year you'll be getting 2 brand new town justices for the first time in a long time. One of the first things I decided to do when I was elected was to pass a term limit law. The town council persons and the town supervisor can only serve 2 4-year terms, whether it's consecutive or separate, for a total of 8 years. Less than 15 towns in New York State out of 900 have term limits, and I think it's the most important thing to do. It stops career politicians, it ends nepotism, and encourages fresh ideas and citizen participation. This law needs to be done at the state and at the national level as well. I'd like you to know how I feel about local government and how it should be run. Before I took office, this town for decades were run by the developers for the developers. Our town resources were spent to accommodate developers. My policy is to take the power away from the developers and return it to you, the citizens of the town of Fishkill. I invest our resources into the community to improve our services and enhance your quality of life. You'll see that approach in action as I talk to you about the things that the town has done under my leadership. I'd like to give you all a general overview of our town, starting with Town Hall. Town Hall is a central office space and contains most of the town departments. When you enter our Town Hall lobby, the first thing you will see is our courtroom and our Justice Court offices. These offices are staffed by our dedicated court clerks who can assist you with responding to tickets, paying fines, and answering questions related to town court. As you move through the lobby in the main Town Hall area, you'll see the office of the Town Clerk and Tax Receiver. The clerk is the busiest person in Town Hall and provides countless services to residents, and I'll just name a few. Dog licenses, marriage licenses, birth and death certificates, genealogical research, hunting and fishing permits, and so much more. Visit our town website to see all the ways the town clerk can serve you. Also, the Town Hall is the office of our town assessor, Christian Harkins. The assessor's office is responsible for maintaining our assessment rolls, which calculate the value of properties in town, which helps you determine your tax bill. The assessor is happy to meet with residents to discuss questions about their property assessments and assist in enrolling for tax exemptions, which you can save money. Next to the assessor's office are the planning, zoning, fire, and building offices. These offices process applications for building permits, site plans, zoning variances, and other functions related to code enforcement, and house our building inspector, Joel Petrus and Rich Travis, and our fire inspector, Steve Van Buren. These offices are utilized by our town planning board and zoning board of appeals, which are volunteer boards and made up dedicated citizens who care about our town. One of our most important offices, Town Hall, is our finance office, run by our town controller, Sharon Mitchell. Sharon oversees the day-to-day finances of the town, and our staff is responsible for the financial management of the town. This work involves processing our accounts, managing payroll for town employees, capital projects, and grant monitoring and financial reporting. Sharon plays a key role in preparing the annual town budget, and I cannot stress to you how important Sharon and her staff are to the financial well-being of the town. The last office space in Town Hall is the office for the town supervisor and town board. I have a proud open-door policy, and if you have a question or concern, you're always invited to visit my office. Either myself or my assistant, Greg Totino, will be on hand to assist you. Our office has also designated space for town board members, and this is one of the things I'm personally proud of. Before I took office, our town board members were excluded from the day-to-day management of the town. They had no office space in Town Hall, no computer or telephone, and very little access to information. I believe in open government, and I want strong checks and balances, so one of my first directives was to create this office space, and I'm very pleased that our town board members use this space to handle town business. Having our town board members at Town Hall, seeing all the work that we do on a daily basis, gives them a better understanding of the work we do every day, and gives me an added level of accountability. I like hearing their ideas, and often their suggestions give me a new perspective or initiative, and that's what cooperation is all about. One of my favorite perks as town supervisor is I also serve as a town marriage officer. This means I can officiate wedding ceremonies. This is a service I do provide free of charge. Seeing the joy of the faces of the people saying I do is payment enough. So far, I've performed more than 30 weddings at Town Hall, some indoors, some outside, in our beautiful atrium that's tended to by the ladies of the Verplank Garden Club. If you're a Fishkill resident interested in getting married at Town Hall, call my office and we will set up an appointment for you. But the town of Fishkill doesn't end at Town Hall. Directly next door to the Town Hall is our police station, where the town of Fishkill Police Department is located. Our department is very unique in that it provides 24/7 service to the residents of Fishkill, but is staffed by part-time police officers. These dedicated men and women are led by our police chief, Keith Dworkin, who I appointed along with the town board in 2020. Chief Dworkin has overseen some great initiatives at the police department, including our growing community police unit, our Are You OK services, special needs assistance programs, and the town's participating in the Dutchess County Drug Task Force. Most importantly, Chief Dworkin shares my vision for accreditation, which will make our police department one of the premier agencies in New York State. The town took part in the New York State police reform. We have great discussions and adopted a plan to further our goal of running a police department where everyone is treated equally and fairly at all times, and everyone receives due process, both the public and our officers. Next to our police station is our recreation and senior center. Our rec department is run by Jason Mayetta. Jay began working for the town as a camp counselor as a teenager, and now he oversees the entire department, delivering excellent programming for our seniors, children, and families. The Senior Center hosts countless events and weekly activities for seniors, organizations, special trips, and gives seniors access to community, entertainment, and special services. Our youth program, including the summer camp and after-school program, basketball program, and countless other activities at the recreation and other town parks. Speaking of parks, the town of Fishkill is home of several, and I am proud of the fantastic investment we are making into our town parks. Perhaps the most well-known town park is Gearin Park, located near the intersections of Route 52 and I-84. This park is home to sports fields, tennis and basketball courts, playgrounds, and a large pavilion where events are held. We also have Doug Phillips Park on Route 52 near the Arrowhead, which has Little League fields and is home to the Friendly Paws Dog Park, and is soon to be the home from some new and improved park space, including New Sensory Park, which is set to be completed in the summer. That project was led by council members Louise Daniele and Carmine Estevan. I applaud their work on this project to provide safe, inclusive play space for children with all abilities. Shepherd Memorial Park is located on the other side of the Arrowhead on Route 82 near Brickroff Elementary, and is our primary park for our Little League program, featuring 4 ball fields, a playground area, and a pavilion with a concession stand. The town has performed major improvements of this park in the last couple of years, with improvements to the fields and fences, and I hope to see lights installed in this park in the next year or so. We also have Dutchess Park Lake, which is located down the road from Shepherd Park, and it has a wonderful lake in it. Recently, the town undertook some beautification at Dutchess Park Lake, treating algae and setting up a fountain aerator to keep the lake looking beautiful. If you see swans there, you'll know that this was a successful effort. Another exciting park space that we have in the town is Gene Van Pelt Park. The park is located on Washington Avenue. It's about to get bigger. What do I mean by that? Well, as many of you know, the town worked with Dutchess County to secure a new bridge at Washington Avenue, and when this project is complete, the old bridge will be taken down and will open up space at Gene Van Pelt Park for the town to utilize, and I'm sure we'll find excellent ways to do so. We also have Camp Forester, where the town has been undertaking work to beautify this natural space and install a footbridge for walking, and we're going to be placing an aerator in that pond also. All of these park spaces are overseen by our hardworking Parks Director, Brandon Knapp. Brandon and his team has handled our town buildings and grounds. If you've been into one of our town parks and you see the beauty, you have Brandon and his crew to thank. Thank you. Well done, Brandon. Investing in our park spaces has been a huge priority for this administration. Doing so improves the recreational opportunity for families and children, and having functional, beautiful spaces goes a long way to foster community pride. For so many years, Fishkill had no real identity. We have changed that by investing in our town parks, our open space, and other initiatives that highlight our town. I'd like to briefly mention just 2. Last year, the town dedicated a statue to Chief Nimham, a native son of Fishkill, a tribal leader of the Wappinger people, and a Revolutionary War combat veteran who was killed in battle. This statue was a passion project of mine since taking office, and I thank the town board for their support in making this a reality. This statue helps to shine a spotlight on our incredible history, and I can't begin to tell you how many people have stopped me at town hall or around town to tell me how much they love the statue, which is very, very gratifying. Second, I'd like to talk about the banners that you've seen around town on Route 52. These are our hometown hero banners. Each banner is hung to honor a Fishkill resident who served our nation in uniform. Those banners honor the men and women who served in every major military theater since World War II and every branch of the military. Some residents got a banner for a deceased parent, some for a sibling or spouse, but all the families who see a loved one on the banners are touched and proud. As a veteran who has a banner this year, I can't say enough about the program, and I want to give special thanks to Councilmember Louise Daniele for spearheading this program, Councilman Carmine Estevan for his coordination, my assistant Greg for his work and all the photos veterans brought in, Sharon and Olympia from the finance office, banner printer Roy Bartels, and Lee's Tree Service for making this wonderful program possible. And of course, I salute all my brothers and sisters in arms who are honored with these banners. Lastly, we have our highway department. Highway operates out of the facility adjacent to Guerin Park. As I mentioned, our superintendent is Glenn Schofield, and his staff are responsible for maintaining the town roadways with paving, repair, snow plowing, and other highway maintenance tasks. We're blessed to have a dedicated staff at Highway who are always on hand during snowstorms to clear the roads and during summer storms to clean up any mess. We built a new salt shed at the highway department. I know it doesn't sound glamorous, but it needed to be done. We also built a gas station for town vehicles at the same time. Next, we're building an additional highway garage for our trucks, and we're doing this in-house, saving us at least $500,000. Once done, we're going to be able to move space around in the town highway department. So what we're going to do is we're going to put big dumpsters in the highway department and let the citizens of Fishkill use them Monday through Friday during business hours, where you can bring stuff and leave them there in the dumpsters. And if that works out and not abused, we'll be doing that permanently. I know I've said it already, but it bears repeating. Thank you, Glenn Schofield, for your lifetime of dedication to our community. Others will succeed you, but no one can ever replace you. For the first time since 2009, the town has adopted an update to our comprehensive plan. This is a master document that spells out the town's vision for the future. We had a comprehensive committee that have more of a dozen residents, town employees, consultants, and officials. It was our first bipartisan comprehensive plan ever. I'd like to thank our town planner, Liz Axelson, who was the lead author, Drake Loeb, who provided legal counsel, town videographer Pete Skorowitz, who filmed the meetings, council members John Foreman and Brian Rye, who served as liaisons to this process. And I'd like to give credit to former council members Jackie Bardini and Kenya Gaston, and a special thanks to my secretary Greg Totino, who served as secretary and webmaster. The comprehensive plan reflects the priorities of the residents of the town of Fishkill. We sent out a survey with hundreds of responses. The residents' top priorities reflect my own agenda as town supervisor. The comprehensive plan and the survey touched on 3 main issues: overdevelopment, traffic, and water. One of the major concerns the residents of Fishkill have conveyed to me was overdevelopment. It strains our infrastructure, it increases traffic, puts our water in jeopardy, and crowds our schools. The number one case that I like to refer to is the Rolling Hills case, which was situated in the area of 9D, just north of the Beacon-Newburgh Bridge. One of the things that really bothered me about this Rolling Hills case was the fact that my predecessor wanted to sell town-owned land to the developer without a public vote. One of the first things we did after I passed term limits was to get the town board together to vote to make any town-owned land that was to be sold to go to a public vote and let the citizens of Fishkill vote on that. That has happened, so when any supervisor or town board in the future wishes to sell town-owned land, the residents of Fishkill will have that final determination whether land should be sold or not. This is a dramatic shift in the balance of power where your town board used to work for the developers, and now we've taken it to give it to you veto power in these type of cases. The town board, under my direction, also closed loopholes and strengthened our zoning provisions under section 150 of our zoning laws. We made it more difficult for the developers to take advantage of the citizens of the town of Fishkill. And, more importantly, we've cut provisions to allow not-for-profits to come into the town of Fishkill and use the zoning laws to their advantage. As you all know, a few years ago, a not-for-profit on the 9D corridor took $50 million off the tax rolls, which amounts to about 2% of our value. And that burden went to our taxpayers. That's not going to happen anymore. It's very important to understand that it was just a minor provision, a minor change of the law. These are the little tweaks that we've done in Chapter 150 to protect you, the citizens of Fishkill. Another issue that we talked about and discussed at our town board meetings was the protection of our water and our aquifer. So under Chapter 146 regarding water, we passed an Aquifer Protection Act. And on top of that, the state was impressed with how we were operating with this. They allowed us to get into a program which calls the DWSB2 program, which the state of New York came down and they reviewed our aquifer, our well fields, and gave us a bunch of ideas to improve our water sources. And that's precisely what we're going to be doing, and I look forward to implementing that next year. One of the most important things that the town has done under my leadership was change the way our public hearings and our meetings were set at Town Hall. We increased notification requirements for the town board. As you know, I've attended over 400 town board meetings before I became the town supervisor, and the process was very limited in participation. Your public comment period was at the end of the meeting, so if you came in at 7 o'clock at night, you wouldn't have the opportunity to speak to around maybe 9 o'clock at night. We changed the agenda to have privilege of the floor for town items right at the beginning of the meeting. So if the meeting starts at 7 o'clock, you were able to talk about any issue regarding the town around 7:10. We also extended it toward the end of the meeting to allow the citizens who come to the meetings to ask questions about the agenda. In addition to that, the town eliminated the 3-minute gag rule for public comments. If you watch our town board meetings today, there is no time limit. You can speak as long as you want, as long as it's relevant, and that process has even bled into the planning board, where the planning board now allows public comment for the citizens when a project is about to begin for the first time in the history of the town of Fishkill. Another concern that the residents of Fishkill have had over the past few years was abandoned properties and distressed properties. We have addressed those for the first time in Fishkill history. This town board is the first town board to actually enforce the law. We had 5 properties that were addressed. 2 were knocked down, 3 came into compliance and were saved, including a nice historical house. And these properties are no longer derelict in the town of Fishkill. One of these abandoned properties was a CubeSmart property at the intersection of Route 82 and 52. That issue is being addressed as we speak. There is a new developer before the planning board right now, and we should have that property built within a 6-month period. Another huge concern for the citizens of Fishkill, of course, has been traffic. I hear it all the time from the residents of Fishkill. So we've kept the situation from getting worse, and we've been working to improve your traffic situation. I already mentioned the new Washington Avenue Bridge, which is an excellent benefit to the residents, but we are not stopping there. The second concern of the residents is the 9D corridor with the overpass of 84 by the Beacon-Newburgh Bridge. And I've been working with Dutchess County in New York State. What the situation is going to be is going to be extra turn lanes everywhere, going eastbound onto the bridge. And there is also talk about making a northbound ramp right before that interchange. I think that's going to be a great solution to the problem, and I'm looking forward to getting that done. While the residents of Fishkill understand that overdevelopment and traffic is a huge concern, my biggest concern is our water. Our water is our number one resource. We've been blessed to have a good water source, and we need to protect it. There is a finite amount of water supply, and the town is approaching its limit for responsible usage. While the town generally has good water infrastructure, but it has to deal with issues occasionally. Our common issues include faults from our water systems installed by developers to the benefit of the developer, which the town took over and now the taxpayers pay for. We have issues with the Brickerhoff Water District. Years ago, the developer walked away from it. The town is not doing any favors for the developers anymore. We hold developers accountable for the water and sewer they install. And recently, we took a $350,000 settlement from Toll Brothers before we took over their water and sewer systems. Prior to my being elected in office, the residents in that district on Merritt Boulevard were very concerned that they were going to have to pay this water bill. I was not going to let that happen. The residents should not have to pay for what the developers used. And Toll Brothers paid the settlement, and not only did they pay the settlement, they repaired 2 sewer lines, one which they paid for and one which they reimbursed the homeowners association. The responsible things that we did was use ARPA money from the federal government to cover the cost of our projects. We purchased generators for booster stations in Beacon Hills. What was happening in Beacon Hills was that when the power went out, they lost water. That's not going to happen anymore. Town is working on remediation of well issues for the Brickerhoff and Stook well fields. For those who don't know, since 2007, the Stook well field, which is located on Route 9 and 84, has been under Dutchess County Health Department remedial action. Late last year, we were able to get that off the remedial action list after almost a 15-year period. I'm proud that the town board was able to accomplish that and comply with the health department orders. This overall project cost about $50,000, and what it took was some water calculations and bigger mixers as we blend some water with the village of Fishkill to keep our chlorides levels low in that district. The town board is also working on a connection between Brickerhoff and Merritt Park districts for emergency backup and storage. What's important about this is that my predecessor left me with a $5.7 million plan to do this. I reviewed it and I found $5.7 million was too much and unnecessary. Right now we have this in front of our engineers, CPL Engineering, and I'm trying to get this done for about $1.1 million, also using ARPA money with no cost to the residents of Fishkill. As I touched on earlier, the biggest thing is to protect our water resources. One of the first things the town board did in 2021 was pass an aquifer protection plan. We got involved with the Drinking Water Source Protection Plan of 2022. It was a New York State program. It was free to participate, but we received over $140,000 in free engineering services from the state. Myself, Councilman Estevan, and my secretary, Greg Tatino, were heavily involved in this project, and the plan will protect our water resources. We have high levels of chlorine in the water from road salt. We're going to identify the risk and potential contaminate sources, and we're going to develop solutions to reduce the salt levels on roads to bring these chloride levels down. I want to talk to you about our town finances. The town of Fishkill is in fantastic financial condition. In fact, last year we received a Moody's credit rating increase, and the town of Fishkill is the strongest municipality in all of Dutchess County. This comes down to being responsible with our tax dollars. I've taken the responsibility very seriously in my office. I do not take any health benefits from the town, which saves tax dollars. Additionally, my assistant, Greg, has saved the residents nearly $500,000. When I took office, there were 2 budgeted full-time positions for staff in my office, one for secretary and one for communications. Each of these include a salary and health benefits. Greg willingly and superbly assumed the job responsibilities of both jobs while taking only one salary, saving the residents more than $100,000 per year in salary and benefits. Greg, I thank you for your excellent work, wearing 2 different hats, and I know the residents of Fishkill want to thank you as well. I'm also committed about being honest about your taxes. I made a pledge to always tell you the truth about your assessments. Let me repeat that pledge for you now. I will never use increased assessed values to generate additional tax revenue. And I will never lie to you. I won't tell you that I cut your taxes if your tax bill isn't going down. As assessed values increase, the tax rate decreases. That's how the math works out. A lot of politicians would tell you that you're getting a tax cut because the tax rate went down, but it isn't a tax cut. In my time in office, I have kept a conservative budget, and your tax bills have been relatively flat, increasing about $10 to $30 for most taxpayers during this period. You deserve a town that deals honestly when it comes to your tax dollars, and that's what I've done. But there's something I would like to touch on, and that's our budget. Last year, our council members expressed a desire to be part of the process, and I welcome that collaborative approach. Board members sat in on budget meetings, made suggestions about funding, and asked for certain items to be placed in the budget. I then assembled all their ideas and presented them in a budget for the town board to review as a whole and make adjustments until everyone was satisfied. The entire board voted 5-0 to accept my initial budget and then began making the process of making cuts. I was fine with almost every change, but there was one change I was not okay with. $105,000 of money earmarked for our police department was removed from the budget after it was introduced. I'm not okay with that. In 2020, I was proud to be the first elected official in Dutchess County to promise never to defund the police. That is a promise I take seriously, and with our PBA contract expiring this year, we need to have the funds necessary to negotiate a new contract. Unfortunately, the board voted to remove those funds, and I chose to vote against the budget. I stand by that decision. Earlier this year, I also voted against a $1.7 million bond issue. This was set to fund projects which weren't included in the 2023 budget we already adopted. I believe the town financial decision should have a public input. For instance, our annual budget goes through the public hearing where we listen to the citizens' opinion on our budget. The bond issue was an amount of $1.7 million and was adopted by a simple resolution, no public hearing, no notification, no nothing. I wasn't okay with that either, so I voted against it, but it passed. Sadly, this means that you, now the taxpayer, will pay interest on money borrowed. Residential development is also strong in the town of Fishkill. In the next 5 years, we have about 200 residential units coming to the town of Fishkill, with another 100 apartments maybe coming up by town hall. All of this is prescribed as the town law in its current zoning. We will not be given any zoning variances for these developers to put up more homes per acre. There are no more favors or zoning changes for these developers. We are simply enforcing our zoning laws that are already on the books. Now, we do have issues such as home and rental cost sustainability. Good home and property values are a good thing, but the increases in rent and home costs have to be sustainable. We need to look to find ways to encourage growth but keep Fishkill affordable to live here. Let's just look at the gentrification of the city of Beacon. We can't let what happened to the city of Beacon happen to the town of Fishkill. And we need to keep our children, our seniors in the town of Fishkill. Getting rid of empty storefronts and filling vacancies have been a priority of mine. At the Hudson Valley Town Center alone, nearly 20,000 square feet of new businesses is filling vacant storefronts since I've taken office, even during the pandemic. I've cut the tax rate for businesses to encourage business growth and new business in the town. We got the Dutchess Mall redevelopment going on for a possibility of a 350,000 square foot warehouse. A dental implant manufacturing facility will be going into the old M&T Bank on the area of Route 52 near the town line, creating probably between 75 to 150 jobs with an average salary around $75,000 a year. On the 9T quarter alone, we have 90,000 square feet of new commercial development coming just south of the Dutchess Stadium. On Route 9, near the Putnam border, we probably have about another 40,000 square feet of commercial space coming. I oppose any new tax on businesses. I'm working with a developer on waterfront development right on the Hudson River. This is going to be a beautiful asset to the town of Fishkill. It's going to include about 100 luxury apartments or condos, and half of the property is going to be dedicated to the town so we can create a town park with a marina and water access for the residents of the town of Fishkill. I'm looking very forward to getting that done. The town has made great progress over the few years, but that progress has not come without a fight. These big city developers and lawyers use dirty tactics in the town of Fishkill. They've sued residents, our planning board members, to get what they want. They hurt your families. They hurt my family. They hurt everyone in the town of Fishkill. For years, one of the main reasons developers got what they wanted was they threatened to sue. When legal action and threats are a weapon for developers, lawsuits are the cost of doing business if you want to protect your citizens over the developers. I'm proud of my record defending the citizens in court. Anyone who brags about not getting sued is bragging that they never stood up to a developer ever. Before I took office, the average insurance and litigation claimed was $400,000 a year. Since I became supervisor, we've dropped that to less than $100,000 a year per our insurance carrier and our town controller, while protecting you from the developers. Now, how did we accomplish all of this? Really important is that we stayed open during COVID. We continued giving services to the citizens of the town of Fishkill, and we did it in a safe way. We glassed in town hall to protect the residents and the workers. We took temperatures, and we kept commerce going in the town of Fishkill. It's important to remember that we're financially strong because we kept town hall open. I'd like to thank Greg, my assistant, for writing our pandemic response plan. I'm accessible. You can see me in the lobby almost every day. I come around just to talk to people. When you pay your property tax, when you pay your school tax, when you pay your water bill, when you come in for your assessments, I'm out there to hear from you, whether it's good or bad, and I'm proud to be able to do that. The board members are now allowed to talk to department heads. They're allowed to talk to the town attorney. And the reason is I need to know what I'm doing as a checks and balances amongst myself. And it's good to know that another board member can say, hey, supervisor, I know where you're going with this, but let's go this way. And 9 out of 10 times it works. So the more our government is working together. It's better for you because it helps us build a better Fishkill. We put our residents first. We focus on our quality of life, no longer the developers. Instead of spending money on the resources to help the developers make more money, we're now taking those resources and putting them into our parks, recreation, and our historical preservation to benefit the residents of the town of Fishkill. Very, very simple. The most important thing is to thank the people that helped me get this all done. That would be the town employees, my town boards, our committees, our consultants, our engineer CPL, and our planner Liz Axelson, our town attorney Steve Gabler of Drake Loeb, our planning attorney Dominic Cardisco of Drake Loeb, our zoning attorney David McCartney of Furick, Nugent, and McCartney, members of the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals, our town officials past and present, but the biggest thank and credit goes to you, the residents of the town of Fishkill, who gave me this great honor of serving as your town supervisor to allow me to take my vision of Fishkill from the developers running the town to the residents running the town to promote our quality of life. I thank you very much. What would the state of the town be if I wasn't supervisor? It would be a town of the developers, by the developers, for the developers still. We'd be looking at close to 1,200 new residential units coming into the town of Fishkill. Your water quality issues would be paid for by you, the residents of Fishkill, at a cost between $6 and $10 million to accommodate the developers. You would have crowded schools. You would have another school being built at a cost of between $20 and $25 million that you, the residents of Fishkill, would be paying. Commercial spaces most likely would still be abandoned and decrepit. There'd be a lack of community identity. There'd be a lower quality of life for you. I am happy to report to you that the state of the town of Fishkill is the best that it's ever been. Most people are happy, but there are a few residents say, okay, what's next? What's next for Fishkill? The biggest threat that we face are the developers who want to come back to the town and take over the town again. I will always protect the citizens from nefarious developers and their big city lawyers. We need to prepare to work with the state for the connection between the Roundabout and Dutchess Park sewer lines to improve your utilities. Our waterfront development for the first time in Fishkill history. One of my favorite is America 250, or as I like to say, Fishkill 250, the 250th anniversary of the town of Fishkill and the United States of America from the reading of the Declaration of Independence. Our goal for Fishkill is to be among the more prominent observances nationwide. We are going to implement the provisions of the comprehensive plan. We're going to do aquifer protection. We're going to continue with the state on our DWSB2 program, which secures our water sources, and we're going to continue our historical preservation. The progress we made so far will count for nothing if we don't enforce it. We will continue to invest in town spaces, increase community identity to boost pride, and improve our quality of life. All of the stuff that we've done, our history, our parks, our identity, is to give you community pride to say, I'm happy to live in Fishkill. This is why we're doing this. But these are just my ideas. While I speak to residents at Town Hall, through emails, I want to hear what you have to say. So beginning shortly, maybe in early June, I'm going to begin a listening tour where personally, myself, I'm going to come and knock on your door, and I want to hear what your concerns are. What I think is a good idea might not be a good idea to you, and you might have a better idea. So in a few weeks, you're going to be seeing me come to your neighborhood. I'm going to stop in and say hello, and I want to hear from you, the residents of the town of Fishkill, how we can make Fishkill even better. I thank you for watching tonight, and God bless you all, and God bless the citizens of the town of Fishkill. Good night. Thank you very much. All right. All right, next up is discussions. Number one is discussion of resolution to use ARPA funding for the Doug Phillips Park Playground Project. Everybody okay with that? Any questions?
No, that's great. I think it's great that we're able to use that money for
All right.
that because it's a good use.
That's in consent, right?
What?
That's to consent.
Yes.
Next up, discussion of resolution to establish the 2023 town-wide cleanup day. Everybody okay with that?
When is it? What is the day?
What's the day?
I believe it is the 16th.
Thanks.
September 16th. Consent. Number three, discussion to accept the resignation of police officer Arkeem Gorham. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
We scratched number four. Number five, discussion of resolution to waive a 30-day hold on a liquor license for Fishkill Lodge and Partners, 17 Westage. Consent. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Number six, discussion of creek tributary passing through Forge Brook and Wheaton Avenue. I've been getting a lot of complaints over the last 2 years about that little creek. I don't even know the real name. Maybe it's Forge Brook Creek. I was told years ago that the town actually hired somebody to go through there and clean it when the levels were low, late August.
You
hear anything about that?
I believe I may have mentioned that very thing to you. And
Okay.
we have, so yeah, I want to talk about this because we on Florence Avenue have major issues with that creek flooding, and that we need to come up with some sort of solution.
So how about, I just find out what would it cost to maybe get these trees to go through there when the water's down and cut stuff up and move it out of the way? That's all I'm really looking to do.
Well, we need to find the length, yes, okay. Let's start looking at how long and, are we doing 100 yards? Are we doing a mile worth of creek?
I would do the whole thing if we're gonna do
Well,
it.
is it all in the town or some's in the village?
Well, whatever in the town, we would
Right.
just do.
Right.
So Carmen, just like start at the door wherever this thing begins, maybe get the leaf trees to come through there, start cutting stuff up, taking stuff out, and just make sure it flows, because what's happening is they were
Backing
getting
up.
dammed up, so it's flooding and it's going into people's basement, and it's getting worse over the years.
So just like clean up trees and brush
Yeah.
that's over, okay.
Yeah,
Start with that.
It's,
You guys
yeah,
okay with that?
we need to do something.
Just Supervisor, just make sure that we check with the DEC to make sure there's certain boundaries that we cannot cross.
Right.
So we don't do anything that would affect us or get us a fine as a town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're killing me, Carmine.
Yeah, no.
That's true, that's the truth.
I want to get it
That's the truth.
done.
I know.
I know, yeah, I mean.
You're with me, right?
What's that? Working on this?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, but I think, yeah, there's environmental thing to look at, but something's got to be done to clean it out.
Okay. All right. So
So part of the MS4, this is an example, where if we do, we just got to be careful what we remove, that we don't cause any sediment to actually now go into
Understood.
the waterway. So this is part of MS4, but if we just do stuff that's down or laying in the water,
That's what I was
we could do that. If we're clearing any brush or anything, that can cause erosion control issues.
Understood.
So we just have to be careful with that.
All right, so work with me on that.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
So you guys okay with me moving on this?
Oh, without a doubt.
Good? You too? All right.
Yeah, look.
Everybody's
yeah,
good?
look into it more.
Where'd Greg go? Oh, man.
I'd like to,
No, I think it's a great idea.
To begin
Trust me.
looking at it, can you come back to us and let us know, like,
Well, I'm going to see what it
costs and
costs to
stuff?
clean it
Right.
up. Then I'll come back and see what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to hear what's going on, because this is real important to our
Okay.
people around me.
All right, next up, discussion to declare item surplus for highway. Everybody okay with consent?
Yes.
Yep.
Next up, seasonal hirings for rec. Everybody okay with that? Consent? Next one is discussion resolution hire groundskeeper in buildings and grounds. Darren Hernandez, everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Discussion resolution to reappoint seasonal employees in buildings and grounds. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Discussion to launch water department customer portal. That's your baby, Louise. You want to mention that?
Yes, I would. Let me make sure I have the right page. So I'm very happy and excited to announce that Sharon, Mary, and Rick from the Finance Department and the Water Department have worked very hard to finally get our new water meter customer portal up and running for residents to use. This was supposed to be part of the original water meter project from the prior supervisor, but he never followed through on it. This past year, Carmine and I have worked on issues that people have had with some water billing issues because they didn't realize they had leaks. This portal will enable residents to take charge of their own accounts and their elderly family accounts as well, to be able to see water usage and leaks. The program also lets you set alerts to monitor if you go on vacation or just check whenever you want how much water usage you're using. There are specific instructions attached in the agenda packet, but Greg will be sending them out in an e-gov and posting them on our website. They're pretty straightforward. We encourage every resident to sign up and utilize it. If they have any questions, please contact Mary in our water department. She'd be glad to assist you with any information that you need to set up the account. And I'm just really glad that we're finally moving on this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Louise. Good job. We tabled 12, 13.
To where?
June. Next up, number 14, discussion of resolution authorizing preparation of shared service agreement with the Village of Fishkill for striping. Our neighbors, our citizens are going through there and their cars are getting beat up and there's no striping, so I want to work with the village to get it striped up.
I 100% agree that there needs to be striping, and I heard a number of things from citizens as well. It's just a free-for-all when you're coming off of 9 and turning onto Merritt, and all the way down until the lanes change to 2, I guess. But what I don't understand, and I made notes, and I'm trying to find it right now, is how did we come up with $10,000?
I just pulled a number, I don't know, I think I asked Highway what it would cost about.
Well, I talked to Highway, and nobody has heard from this, and Sharon hasn't heard about this, and we don't know what budget line it's coming off of. We don't know, and so they're just questions. Are we getting paid back? What kind of thing is this? Who's getting quotes? I mean, yes, it needs to be done, but I just think there are some gaps in the information here.
No, absolutely, just, this just gives me an opportunity to work with the mayor to hammer out the terms, and I'll bring it back to you if you guys want to accept it or not.
That's good.
Yeah, so we can look at this as not to exceed our contribution of 10,000.
Does that sound good?
I think that's something that we can look at. Look at the project, are we just gonna stripe just the front, the intersection? Are we gonna stripe the lines going up?
I think we're like,
Up Merritt?
we're Panera, when you make the left into Panera, from there down, I think.
Okay, how far, do you know approximately?
See, that's the
Up
thing.
Merritt?
We can look.
But $10,000 is plenty.
Max, guys, that's what
Yeah.
you're saying, max?
Plenty.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want anybody in the village to think we're not interested in doing this. It's just like, let's just find these little fine details, you know, so.
Thank you, sir.
Not to exceed $10,000.
Well, I'm really glad that we're going to work with the mayor to do this, because I know she's been trying to do it on her end in the village, and has come upon many political roadblocks in various counties and other issues. So we're, let's see how much it costs, come back and try and figure out how we can share the money, find the money, or whatever we need to do to get it done.
And just, are we taking it from any specific department, or are we gonna use ARPA money for this?
Listen, let's get to it, and
Okay.
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, listen, our most important thing dealing with the ARPA money is that interconnection. We're budgeted, they said it could be 950, I got about 1.1 in it. If we are on target, we'll have money to do quite a few other things still. So that's our number one thing that we got to get done. And then we can be able to, do some other good stuff. Next up is discussion of resolution to enter into a shared service agreement with the town of East Fishkill for mental health.
Becky,
I apologize, Becky, what?
that's all right. What are we tabling?
14.
14, about the striping, are we, when are we
Table
bringing
it.
it back?
Table it, do we get more info?
2 months?
July.
July? Sure, thank you.
Next up.
Can I ask you a question
Yeah.
for the mental health services sharing with East
Sure.
Fishkill? I just try to look at this, I can appreciate that volume buying is probably getting us a discount, but what's the number on that? Are we really saving a lot of money, or what, because I looked at these numbers that were sent with it, like, I don't see anything, I see a lot of other things that are kind of odd, I don't get it, like, for instance, cell phone and car, and what else did I see in here that just I thought was odd? I don't have that circled document in front of me right now, but are we, are we really saving? What's the bottom line for us?
We would be doing shared service with the town of Fishkill Police, with the East Fishkill Police.
What's the bottom line?
Would split that 71,000 in half. They would use a room in our PD, and they would supply a car. That's basically the gist of it.
Oh, okay, so it is quite a savings then. I didn't see that in here.
Yeah, that's in there, Brian.
Was it in there? I missed that. Okay, thank you. Missed that.
Go on.
So anybody who knows me knows I don't like shared services most of the times. This is one of them. Is there a person already in mind for this shared service, or are we creating a position or looking for someone?
There's a organization.
That was here?
No. it was,
Yes.
No, he's saying yes.
Yes. Mental
Yes.
Health America,
Mental Health
Dutchess
America.
Is it
County.
the two gentlemen that came
Yes.
previously?
Mental Health America.
Yeah.
The ones that do Beacon and then other places?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
them.
Okay. For myself, I think we can use the services through the county, so I'm not for it.
I feel the same. We have a service within the county. The gentlemen are very nice, and I think they're learning the process, and I'm unsure about this, but we pay for the service in the county already. Let's make them accountable and have them come down here.
Okay. That's up for a vote. Number 16, discussion of resolution, accept a proposal from the town engineer to engineer services for Stephen Blodgett Dam.
Becky?
What are we doing with that?
That's a resolution.
No, 15.
There is no resolution for the,
There is a resolution for 15. There isn't?
There is, I think.
yes, there is. It's resolution 4. Nope. No, that's wrong.
Number 5, yep, it's in there. Okay.
So we're moving this to resolution?
Yep. Number 16, discussion of resolution, accept proposal from town engineer for engineer services for the Stephen Blodgett Dam. Carmine, give us a little update on that since you're working on it with me.
Yes, we're working with the DEC about reporting. There's some stuff that we have to be upon par to report to the DEC. So to be up to par, we have to do these services so that we can, so that our dam's in good standing, and do some specific cutting down a couple trees, because if a tree roots collapse on those dam, we can have an issue. So that waterway, we just got to keep it up to par and have an engineer do their rendering on it and report to the DEC.
Supervisor? Yeah.
Okay, we can sign on that?
Well, for myself, it's really frustrating because I live in Dutchess Park and I know the wasted amount of money that we've already spent on engineers in the past by past administrations, and it's still not fixed. So I hope this will be like the last time and it won't affect the rating of the dam, because that's what I'm afraid of for the people who live around the dam. That was a really big issue last time, because if it changed, then their insurances would go sky high and it would be a real problem. Plus, I can't stand repeat engineering costs and consultants, so I hope it's done, because it kind of seems like it's just the first step and then we're going to get charged again. So I trust you, you know what you're doing, but I hope it's final and the people aren't going to get screwed in the end.
So for the residents, the Dutchess Park Lake is actually a dam.
Correct.
So sorry, I was talking so fast, not everybody understood that. It's actually a dam and it holds water. And the DEC wants to make sure if we had a 500-year flood, can it hold the water? So we're going to have to go through engineering to make sure we could actually hold the water and protect the residents in that area. So sorry to be so general. So that's what we have to do. There's some remedies that we have to do to make sure that berm that holds the dam, which is the Dutchess Park Lake, so it doesn't collapse. So it's good. We're just making sure we're going to keep the dam at a Class B. Keep it at a Class B, so a Class C is worse. A Class A is less problematic. So we're a Class B dam. We want to keep it as a Class B dam.
Exactly. Excellent. Okay, so put that in consent. Next up is discussion of financial disclosure. I think everybody agrees to keep it simple, and can we wait till Mr. Gabby gets here next month to go further with this?
Yeah, I have a couple questions I'd want to ask him when he comes back.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions as well.
Do you want to wait for him to come back?
We can wait.
Yeah.
All right, June meeting. All right, next up, privilege of the floor for agenda items. Nobody? Mr.
This is in reference to number 14, the striping.
Yes, sir.
This just happened to me today. There was a car in front of me heading northbound on 9.
Can you talk in the mic? I'm so sorry. Thank you.
I can, I think.
You can take it off. You can take it off. You can take it off.
I can, see?
Yeah.
I can.
Great job.
So this happened to me today. I was heading north on Route 9. Behind a car, we were making a left into the Walmart Merritt Boulevard area. And you're talking about the striping in that area.
The right going into Panera.
Okay. But
That way.
But
Merritt Boulevard.
yeah, I got your Merritt Boulevard, but I'm kind of like bringing the Route 9 Merritt Boulevard into it, kind of.
That's West Merritt Boulevard.
Yeah, but on Route 9, like, that whole intersection.
Okay.
Okay? And the reason I didn't know you were going to talk about this tonight, but it was right in front of me, and there was almost a major accident there because of that, and I realized what the problem is. The light changed. The lights are not lined up properly with the lanes. The car in front of me proceeded to take a left-hand turn across the southbound traffic. It was close, really, really close to a major accident. And I talked to a member of Rombout, and they said it's a very dangerous intersection. Pico, protection engine, and Rombout do a lot of accidents there. The lights are not lined up. when I was coming here today, I noticed they did work, and it's maybe not quite on this, but on the same topic. If you're leaving here and going into the village at Route 84 exit now onto 52, they have 3 lights, but there's only 2 lanes. So there's a light there that gives you a left arrow to turn into...
Forgebrook.
No. If you're heading towards the village... Yeah, you're heading towards the village, so you're going east.
Okay.
Okay? And when you go underneath the overpass, they put new traffic lights. There's 3 lights. There's no 3 lanes. So I think that's what's happening, is there's the confusion with the lighting of the signals that's causing these accidents, and then with poor striping, people don't realize where the turns are.
If you look at, the traffic actually got worse since they did those lights. If you notice at 4 or
backed up
5
more.
o'clock, it's backed all the way up, almost going into.
Yeah, they're not synchronized, they messed it up.
They're worse.
And we have a lot of people stopping in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah.
Right there. So I think maybe we need to reach out and,
Ms. Bibbo? Talk to Ms. Bibbo tomorrow?
we have to, because it's really confusing residents, and it's just not, they're giving too much time for coming out of Gearing.
I think the residents, when I was at the highway department, I think the secretary said she gets calls all the time, but they think it's our highway department, but it's
I
not.
just saw these 2 things today. When I was going eastbound, there's 3 lights there, and I'm looking at the road, there's only 2 lanes, so it was, I think it's just a little confusing.
So the residents know, and you know, there's county and state roads,
Yeah.
and we don't have authority over them. We can recommend or try to help, let them come down and meet with our highway department, and do recommendation with our town board.
Yeah, they're
But
not
we
your
don't-
responsibility.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, we try.
But, and like you said, you're our voice for us here, so.
Yes, sir.
We know we can all do that, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orkin.
Greg, I have the contact information for the DOT who would handle Southern Dutchess. I just happen to have it, so I will send it over to you tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
And
His
also,
last name is Zimmer.
Zimmer, Councilman Sven will work on that.
yes, and also something that everybody be aware of, the new sidewalks they put in over there. You notice there's a lot of debris. They didn't turn it over to the town, so we don't want to go on to those walkways and clean them until, the concrete hardens, and we don't want to sweep them off or be liable for those walkways until they're actually dedicated to the town, and they have not been. So that's why our highway has not acted upon that yet.
I'm glad to know that. Seriously.
Yes.
Because I looked at that debris and I thought, what the heck? Okay. Are we tabling, did we agree to table the, disclosure, financial disclosure?
Yes, till June.
Yes.
When
I
Mr.
know
Gavin
we,
gets back.
okay.
Yeah,
All right,
until
we'll keep
the
it short.
meeting.
We'll keep it short.
Got it.
All right, next up is a consent agenda. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Supervisor, as
Foreman?
amended.
What?
As amended.
Consent agenda as amended. Can I have a second?
Second.
Foreman, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry,
Okay.
Peggy.
1 and 2 were moved to June. Number 3 is a resolution to authorize release of a performance bond for our project.
I just had a question. So are they all, they've completed everything they're supposed to for that?
Joel said it's ready to go, so I would assume
The
yes.
Dutchess County documents indicating their satisfaction are included in the agenda packet.
Okay, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, you ready?
Good.
Okay. Whereas L&D Homes, Inc. has applied and received for approval from the Town Planning Board for a 6-lot subdivision for certain real property located at 234 Baxtertown Road, Fishkill, New York. Whereas the Planning Board's approval resolution requiring as a condition of approval, posting a performance bond, and a performance bond is something that we passed, right?
Yes, Supervisor.
Yes, we didn't have that a few years ago. Whereas the recommendation of the town's engineering consultants, H2M, the performance bond was set by the town board in the amount of $75,900, and whereas the document supplies LMD Homes, Inc., Ostrowska Engineering, and the County of Dutchess Department of Behavioral and Community Health, all conditions of this release of this performance bond have been satisfied and is attached here too. Now therefore be resolved as follows. Number 1, the town board hereby directs a release of the said performance bond in the amount of $75,900 to LMD Homes, Inc., and the resolution shall be effective immediately. I present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Foreman, all in favor?
Aye.
Number 4, resolution authorized preparation of shared service agreement with the Village of Fishkill for striping. Now therefore be resolved, the town board hereby directs the town attorney to prepare an intermunicipal agreement to be adopted by the town and Village of Fishkill enabling the town to perform a pavement striping on Merritt Boulevard at no cost, at a cost not to exceed $10,000. This resolution shall be effective immediately. I present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Carmine, all in favor?
Aye.
Next up is a resolution to enter a shared service agreement with the town of East Fishkill for mental health services. I don't know if this is going to pass, so let's just go straight to a vote.
Can I ask one quick question?
Sure.
So I have talked to the chief about this, and I know, because I've been talking to the county about this as well, trying to get a representative down here for Southern Dutchess, and the chief had told me, I got a room available, just like this setup is, and maybe East Fishkill has the car available, but we know if have you talked to the chiefs about this? About this actual...
The East Fishkill chief is in, our chief is not sold on it.
Did he give you a reason why?
The county prefers to use.
Trying to get the county down here.
He prefers using, I don't want to.
He prefers using the county?
I don't want to put words in his mouth, but something like that.
Okay.
We have the services to the county. We should be utilizing the county and hold them accountable for giving us mental health.
Let's just do a vote.
Okay.
Louise?
Nay.
Carmine?
No.
Yes? John?
No.
No.
Okay, it's dead. Remind me to send an email to the supervisor of East Fishkill, let him know that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Items for special consideration, we got 2. The first one be a resolution to declare surplus item in the highway department. Now there be resolved that the town board of the town of Fishkill hereby authorize Glenn Schofield to dispose of the property listed in the attachment by informal procedure of sealed bids and/or internet auction, and be it further resolved the surplus item shall be sold as is, condition without any warranty as to condition. So it's just a bunch of extra stuff they got they want to get rid of. Any questions, guys?
Nope.
No.
Present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one up is to appoint the young man that came up for seasonal laborer earlier tonight. Now therefore be resolved by the town board as follows. Section 1, all whereas paragraphs incorporated herein to a reference set forth in full. Section 2, the town board hereby appoints Sean Cadden to the position of seasonal laborer with a starting date of May 30th at a rate of $15 per hour, subject to Dutchess County Human Resource and successful completion of pre-employment screening. Section 3, the town supervisor and/or his designee shall take any and all actions necessary to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Number 4, this resolution shall be effective immediately. I present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
That kid is studying to be a teacher. He's a great little guy. And his dad's an officer, with our police force, so I think he's going to be a great little asset for the summer.
Sounds good. All right. New and old business, Louise?
Oh, I'm looking.
Nothing? Carmine?
No, I'm looking. Hold on.
Carmine, you ready?
No, I'm good.
John?
I'm good.
Brian?
It's a Memorial Day weekend coming up. If anything reminds us the importance of remembering our military on Memorial Day was this event that was organized by Louise Daniele tonight, and that was a very special event.
Thank you.
And I hope that people will do more than buy a mattress on sale on Monday and think about the people who have died for this country. And I'm very pleased and honored to say that I'm going to be giving the remarks at the end of the Memorial Day parade in the village this year, so I look forward to that. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
I found it, if you don't mind.
Go on.
Just for old business, I don't know if I want to bring it up for a new topic or to bring it up or not, but regarding the vet committee that we have, I thought it was supposed to be informal, not formal. So when we're creating a board or a panel, I don't know if we have any rules specific to what they're supposed to actually do. And I kind of feel like it's excluding the vets that you actually gathered there, because I think there was a pretty good amount of people at the last meeting. And I think that when you create a board, you're not making it a networking group like it should be, and it looks like it's becoming more political, and are these people even vets, and what is their goal to be? So I have questions about whether it should be informal or not. And if it's formal, I think Mr. Gaba had told me in an email, there are specific rules that need to be discussed, or if we keep it informal.
Are you talking about, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning of the vets committee?
Yes.
Oh, it's definitely loaded with vets and not
I don't really know if
networking.
that's true. So we have no rules, but so like I said, I think we need to discuss if it's going to stay informal or formal. And it sounds
It's
like it
informal right
became
now.
formal.
It's
And if
informal.
there's
It's
a board and it's formal, we need to discuss what I think we can ask our attorney, because I spoke to Mr. Gaba in an email, and he said that there are specific rules if it's going to be formal. So we might need to discuss whether it should be or not. Yes? I don't know if they can hear you in the mic. Sorry, Becky. Oh.
No, I have been contacted by Mr. Gaba.
Regarding this matter?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
So maybe we could just bring it up for a discussion to talk about what it should be.
When's the next town board meeting?
June 16th.
So,
All right. Next town.
June 16th?
June 16th.
No,
next-
June 21st.
June 21st.
It's the third one, the
Yep.
third, yeah.
I won't be here on the 16th.
Yeah.
Yep. Apologies.
Nothing. Don't do anything with it.
Which resolution?
Don't do anything. I'm gonna look into it more.
No, so it was a discussion, so can we discuss it or not?
No.
Thanks, Becky.
All right, so the next meeting is June 21st. We're going to go in executive session to discuss a personnel matter. There'll be no vote or decision afterwards. So I'll make a motion to leave the regular course of business and go into executive session. I'll present that as a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
John, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for watching. Take your time.